Chapter 1. It was dark all around, and the chaos was silent. A solemn bronze mirror in the darkness emitted a faint blue light. She was wearing a red robe, and there was a vivid red spider lily between her eyebrows. The pearls on her hand jingled. "Hello, host. Welcome to the chaos world. I am Sir System. Where's this? I'm dead? Yes, you've been dead for 30,000 years." The system's cold mechanical sigh seemed to indicate that it had been a long time. She frowned slightly and tried to find her memories, but she couldn't remember anything. She was no stranger to any plane of existence and people from ancient times, but she just couldn't remember who she was. What did she experience? Why did she die? Your memories have long been wiped clean by the Witch Lord in the chaos space. Only an empty soul with no memories is suitable to travel through time. You know what I'm thinking? She was stunned. Someone had actually read her mind. I am an omnipotent and powerful system. As the only soul in this world who has been dead for 30,000 years without reincarnation, you have two choices. 1, you can turn into ashes. 2, you can complete the original owner's task and obtain the corresponding experience. When the experience is full, you can recover your memories and be reborn. Silence. The host has accepted the task and is now loading the system. When did I say I accepted the task? Luo Qingshun was stunned. She didn't say anything at all. The host's thoughts have accepted the task. The system has finished loading. Another silence. The next second, the bronze mirror in front of her gradually brightened and a series of blurry words appeared on the mirror. She squinted her eyes and the words gradually became clear. Luo Qingshun's detailed explanation of time travel. 1. Task rank. C. BASSSSS. Completing tasks of different difficulty will give you different experience. 2. If the task fails or the male lead's friendship with the female lead reaches 100, the host will turn into ashes. 3. Luo Qingshun's basic panel is as follows: experience, appearance, physical strength, charm, figure. Other than experience, all the panel values are only for this task and have nothing to do with other tasks. For when the experience is full, you can be reborn and recover all your memories. The next second, the image on the bronze mirror gradually blurred and turned into a new page. Task rank. C. EXP gained. 100. Item gained. Newbie gift pack X1. Female lead. Luo Qingshun male lead. Zhao and Yang supporting female lead. Yin Wu's mission details. Return to the day before the original host's death. Change the ending and obtain the love of the male lead Zhao and Yang. Host, please choose. Do you want to accept all the memories of the original owner? There was silence once again. Host, this must be said. If you say so, then so be it. Luo Qingshun thought in her heart. Could it be that if she said no, she would not be given the memory? Furthermore, her soul still needed to be preserved. All right? Whenever she thought of the childish and somewhat aloof system saying that she had been dead for 30,000 years and couldn't reincarnate, she got angry. Who could be so powerful that they could prevent her from reincarnating for 30,000 years? Chapter 2. The previous host, Luo Qingshun, was the Luo family's only daughter. Her parents doted on her and were afraid she would fall, afraid she would melt in their mouth. This kind of spoiling made the previous host arrogant and overbearing from a young age. She could not tolerate people who disobeyed her. Of course, this included Zhao and Yang, who she loved for a lifetime. The previous host was most proud of two things. One was helping Zhao and Yang travel north and south, attacking all the cities and helping him become emperor. The second was becoming his bride. However, in Zhao and Yang's heart, the previous host was a demon. When the previous host saw Zhao and Yang for the first time, he was kneeling in the snow. The previous host's father told her that Zhao and Yang was blind. Because his mother was seriously ill, he was begging for a doctor. The previous host found a doctor for him and returned to Zhongmao. But she never thought that the doctor would be replaced by his older brother. Zhao and Ling Zhao and Yang's mother passed away the next day. After a few years, by chance, the original owner and Zhao and Yang studied at the same academy. Because of his mother, Zhao and Yang ignored the previous host. The previous host was very angry. In order to make Zhao and Yang beg her, the previous host sent people to bully Zhao and Yang for being blind, until the ugly supporting female lead, Yin Wu-sei, appeared and helped Zhao and Yang out. Zhao and Yang was very grateful and decided that one day he would repay this favor. After the previous host found out, she used her power to drive out the supporting female lead, making them never see each other again. She never thought that many years later, with the previous host's careful cultivation and connections, Zhao and Yang would finally pass the imperial exams and become an imperial censor. But at this time, the supporting female lead told him that she was not willing to marry a 60-year-old imperial tutor and hoped that he could help her. The grace of saving his life at the academy made the kind Zhao and Yang agree. The previous host risked her life to get the heavenly mountain snow lotus and the Luo family token to force the male lead to marry her. She also promised to help him become emperor and take revenge for her mother. Zhao and Yang agreed to marry the previous host. After this, the previous host helped Zhao and Yang attack all the cities, but Zhao and Yang stopped in front of the supporting female lead city. Because Zhao and Yang was indebted to the supporting female lead, he could not bear to see her die. He had his subordinates bring the supporting female lead back and place her in the firewood shed, sending her out of the city. After all, although he wanted to repay the favor, he did not want the previous host to be angry. Who would have thought that the previous host would find out in the end? After she found out, she went to look for the supporting female lead. In the end, she was accidentally stabbed and lost the child in her stomach. At this point, the original owner was no longer an innocent and domineering person. Not long after, she became cold and taciturn, never going out. Zhao and Yang wanted to see her time and time again, but was blocked outside the door by her. Over time, he became disheartened. A year later, Yin was successfully ascended the throne with her soft words and became the most favored imperial concubine of the emperor in the Eastern map. But in fact, she was just a figurehead consort. It's just that the host didn't know. After a few more years, the original owner finally passed away under the self-torture of crying all day long. But before she died, she regretted it. She had put in so much effort just to stay by that young man's side. She should not have given up. It was this idea that brought her obsession to the bronze mirror in the Chaos World, where the host Luo Qingshan appeared. May I ask if the host has finished sorting out the story of the original owner? When the system saw that Luo Qingshan had been sitting there motionless for at least 2 hours, it couldn't help but ask. And it's pretty much done, Luo Qingshan said with a faint smile. Can you tell me the male lead's affection towards the original owner and supporting female lead? Original owner 50%. Supporting female lead 30%. This made Luo Qingshan sigh. After all these years, Zhao and Yang still had such deep affection for the original owner. It wasn't a waste for the original owner to risk her life to pick the heavenly mountain snow lotus to let him see the light of day again. She thought about it. The original owner had always been very strong. Whether it was to him or to anything else, she always cut the Gordian knot, never letting anyone see her weak and delicate side. Cutting the Gordian knot. Why did it feel like this was closer to her personality? But in general, this kind of personality would not only leave the male lead in the dust, it would even make him feel like he couldn't reach her. After all, men all liked women that they could protect. In that case, all she had to do now was to play the role of a gentle little woman and slowly walk into Zhao and Yang's heart. However, her head hurt a bit right now. It was getting late, and she felt a bit uncomfortable, so she should sleep first. After all, the original owner had passed away like Lin Daiyu, so there was no harm in resting. Chapter 3. The next morning, Luo Qingshan woke up early. She slept well last night and had no dreams. She turned her head and couldn't help thinking that the original host was supposed to die tonight, making her body tremble. She took a deep breath and felt that her breathing was smooth. She shouldn't die, right? System notification. The original host body is very weak because of the years of abuse. Host, please cherish it. Even if you don't say it, I will cherish it. Okay? Dressing up in front of the mirror was the most important thing in life. In her impression, The original host was very ugly before she died, so ugly that she almost didn't look like her. Luo Qingshun walked in front of the mirror and looked at herself because she was too lazy to wash her face yesterday. She almost cried out in surprise. What the hell was this? Dark red rouge, not only on her cheeks but also on her eyes. Her skin was waxy yellow, and her lips were purplish black. Was she poisoned? Luo Qingshun gently wiped it with her hand. It really was powder that could be wiped off. She couldn't help shaking her head helplessly. The original host was too cruel to herself. Although she accidentally lost her child, she shouldn't ruin her face like this. Someone, bring me a basin of hot water. Luo Qingshun shouted at the servant outside the door, her voice a little hoarse. It was different from the voice she heard before. It wasn't watery at all. Fuck, why was her voice like this? Oh my god. Does the system have any throat-soothing medicine? Yes. The system suddenly thought like a machine. Give me one. No experience, no exchange. Can I predict it in advance? We have a long-term relationship. I won't run away or not return it. My soul that has been floating for 30,000 years will be reborn, right? The system completely ignored Luo Qingshun's thoughts and played dead. Okay, this is very system. The system silently wanted to beat the host, but after thinking about it, it held back. After all, it was because of that person's existence that she could stay in the chaotic space for 30,000 years without any injuries and finally get a chance to be reborn. With it, the door was opened. A dazzling light shone into the room. Luo Qingshun only felt a cloud of dust rise from the ground. She couldn't help but frown. How long had it been since this girl had left the house? Luo Qingshun washed her face from her forehead to her chin at least 5 times after she handed over the water that the servant gave her to wash her face. She finally managed to wash off the old woman's makeup completely. Her makeup skills weren't very good, but the original owner's foundation was good. There was no one in this world who could overturn a city, okay? And not bad. After applying a thin layer of rouge and face powder, she indeed looked devastatingly beautiful. However, he had to change his clothes. He couldn't wear such ragged clothes. Luo Qingshun's jaw dropped when she opened the original owner's box of clothes. Who could tell her what the hell was all this mess of colors? Dark black, dark red, khaki, dark green, and even pure black? This is the color of an 80-year-old granny. How can I win back the male lead's heart if I wear this? No. She had to go out and buy clothes. For the next 2 hours, she rummaged through the original owner's room and took out all the valuable things. Actually, the reason why the original owner hated the world these past few years was because of her father's death. With the death of the Luo king, the Luo family's power was halved. Over the years, Yan Wusei's status in the palace was very high. Zhao and Yang's harem had no other women besides Yan Wusei. However, it was very strange here. The male lead's affection for the supporting female lead was only 30%. Chapter 4. Luo Qingshun put all the valuable money in her pocket and opened the door with a smile. The large courtyard was empty, and the fallen leaves on the ground had not been cleaned. There seemed to be no one here except for the servant girl who had just brought her water. Mas, mistress. Xiao Qiu saw her mistress coming out of the room and almost knelt on the ground. Luo Qingshun hurriedly helped her up and shook her head. I can't accept it. The sun is good. Let's go out and do some photosynthesis together. Photosynthesis? Xiao Qiu looked at her with a puzzled face. Her head turned slightly. This word seemed to come from a modern world. No matter, she must go out of the palace. She wanted to buy clothes. She originally thought that it would not be easy to leave the palace, but she did not expect it to be so carefree. The side door was on the right side. Didn't this mean that she could leave the palace every day? Luo Qingshun walked back and forth in Splendid House 3 times and finally stopped at a moon-white dress. She wanted to reach out, but found a rough hand grabbing the dress at the same time. Which idiot did this? She narrowed her eyes and looked up slightly. She saw a woman who looked like a servant. She searched her memory. Wasn't this Yan Wusei's personal palace maid? What was her name again? Chunhua or Chun Tao? System prompt, Tao Hua. Oh, that's not important. You don't need to give me a prompt. The host's adaptability was too strong. In a short while, she had gradually revealed her true nature. Who are you? You dare to fight with me? Tao Hua stared with big eyes, looking very imposing. Luo Qingqing's eyes narrowed, but the corner of her mouth held a faint smile. You like it? You don't look like someone who deserves this dress. My mistress deserves it. If you don't want to die, let go quickly. Tao Hua's eyes were slightly sinister. This kind of eyes and her name did not match. Then I can let go, Luo Qingqian said, but her hand clenched tighter, until the dress showed signs of tearing. Luo Qingqian quickly let go. Ouch! Peach Blossom fell to the ground and rolled on the ground. The surrounding onlookers couldn't help but laugh. Peach Blossom was also a bit overbearing. She relied on the fact that she was Yin Wu-Sei's favorite palace maid and had some status in the palace. You wait. Tao Hua was out of breath as she pointed at Luo Qingqian. It had to be known that she was Yin Wu-Sei's favorite maid. With that, she ran straight into the palace. Luo Qingqian was too lazy to pay attention to her. She raised her eyebrows and said to the boss beside her, "This aqua green wide-sleeve shirt. If you like it, I'll wrap it up for you." The shopkeeper had also been bullied by that Peach Blossom in the past. Today, someone had stood up to reprimand her. Naturally, he felt very happy in his heart. No need. Luo Qingqian chuckled and said, "I'll wear it directly." She was wearing an aqua green embroidered double butterfly wide-sleeve dress, which made her look like she had been reborn. Luo Qingqian looked at herself in the mirror and nodded with satisfaction. This was how she looked like she was going to steal a man, okay? Just as Luo Qingqian was about to return to the palace, Peach Blossom suddenly appeared in front of her with a man in armor. "Brother Dainyu, this is the person who bullied me just now." Peach Blossom's face was full of grievances. Luo Qingqian tried hard to search for this person in her memory. She tried very hard, but there was none. There was no such person in her memory. "You dare to bully my people. You don't even know how much weight you have." Dainyu roared. He was full of momentum and wanted to rush up and beat them. "Fuck, system, he wants to beat people. Do you have a mace? Give me one." "Yes." The system's voice was flat. Come on. No experience points, no exchange points. Fuck. Chapter 5. Damn, so handsome. That was an extremely elegant and handsome face. It was like a dream, like the moon, like a flower in the sky. Eyebrows like a crescent moon, a pair of dark blue eyes as clear as the vast starry sky, skin as white as cream, thin lips slightly pursed, and a faint smile on the corner of his mouth. System notification. An unread hidden mission has appeared. Do you wish to activate it? What was the benefit of completing it? Luo Qingqian had to ask clearly. She hadn't even found a shadow of the main mission, and a side mission had appeared. There was no reason for her to accept it, unless there was a better reward. Received a mace. The system seemed to be extremely perfunctory. I won't do it. I don't want a mace now. No. Congratulations to the host for activating the hidden mission. Let Suli pass the Imperial examination. Damn, when did I say I accepted it? System, are you crazy? When did I say yes? Double negative means yes. Damn, system, if you bully the host like this, the host will be angry. Before Luo Qingqian could communicate clearly with the system, Suli was already in front of her, angrily looking at the two people in front of her. Oh, so it's young Master Suli. Peach Blossom looked at him with a smile, her eyes filled with infatuation. Luo Qingqian felt that this was normal. After all, Suli's appearance and name were 1,000 times better than Dinyo, okay? Hurry up and leave, or else I'll beat you up too. Dinyo looked at Peach Blossom's ambiguous gaze toward Suli, and his tone became even more angry. The Imperial Court's people are in front of the boss. Aren't you afraid that the current emperor will punish you? Suli replied with conviction. Sure enough, Dinyo was a little shaken. After all, he was wearing the Imperial Guard's uniform. He originally only wanted to help Peach Blossom scare others. He didn't expect to attract so many onlookers. If he was really reported, his life wouldn't be guaranteed. The whispers around them gradually grew louder, constantly criticizing Dinyo and Peach Blossom. Oh, look at how the government is bullying people. Isn't that right? There's also a palace maid. Every time she comes to buy things, she's so arrogant. I hate seeing her. Don't lower your voice. I heard that her master is the most favored in the harem. The emperor has not taken any other concubines in all these years. If that's the case, then wouldn't her master be devastatingly beautiful? Sure, that's not it. I heard that she is an ugly woman. She probably knows the art of seduction to gain the emperor's favor. Oh, she didn't know why, but Luo Qingxin's heart was very happy at this moment. Why did she feel that those gossips sounded so pleasing to her ears? Peach Blossom, let's go. Daigneau seemed to be unable to hold on any longer. He tugged at Peach Blossom beside him. Peach Blossom stared at Luo Qingxin viciously. Her eyes almost popped out of their sockets. But what could he do? If he didn't leave now, things would really get out of hand. You wait for me. Peach Blossom stomped her foot angrily and looked at Luo Qingxin. I said, Miss, don't skip the needle. You just said that. Luo Qingxin shrugged and said with a mocking smile. System notification. Peach Blossom has turned black. Damn, what kind of glass heart is this? She turned black just like that? What's the standard for turning black? Can she turn black at any time? Miss, are you all right? Your complexion doesn't look too good. After Peach Blossom and Daigneau walked far away, Sully turned around and looked at Luo Qingxin with concern. No, I'm fine. Luo Qingxin smiled gently and said, Young Master Su, thank you for helping me out today. In the future, I'll definitely fulfill one of your wishes. Miss, you're too serious. I don't have any wishes. Sully was stunned and then shook his head. System, when will the imperial examinations begin? I still have to prepare for him to pass the imperial examinations. I can't just go to the imperial examinations. Tomorrow, the system's cold voice sounded. Chapter 6. Young Master Su, don't you have the imperial exam tomorrow? Luo Qingxin asked tentatively. In fact, she wanted to say, why are you still wandering around the streets when you have the exam tomorrow? Why aren't you rushing to memorize? But when she thought about how this handsome guy saved her life, she decided to forget about it. That's right. Sully smiled helplessly. I haven't figured out the big questions in the past few years and failed every year. I'm only a scholar. Big questions? Luo Qingxin thought for a bit and asked, what kind of questions are you good at? Shangjing. Sully was a bit embarrassed. He scratched his head and blushed slightly. Luo Qingxin thought for a bit and nodded with a smile. Study well. I'll go to the examination hall to cheer you on tomorrow. Sully pursed his lips into a smile and nodded. If she remembered correctly, the big questions in the imperial exam were set by the emperor himself. They were sent directly from the imperial study to the examination hall on the morning of the exam. Thinking about it, she still had a bit of time. Host analysis is good. Damn, why didn't you say so earlier? Hindsight. Host, you're a ghost, not a horse. I'm a system, not a cannon. The system's voice was like a machine without any emotion. But why did she want to take it out of a certain dimension and beat it up? When she returned to the imperial palace, her maid Xiao Qiu was waiting for her at the door. After all, she left the palace without permission. If imperial concubine Yin found out, she might say something in front of the emperor. Xiao Qiu, where is the emperor? Luo Qingxin looked at Xiao Qiu and asked very seriously. This servant doesn't know. Xiao Qiu was a bit scared. The entire imperial palace knew that the master she served was the emperor's official wife. But for some reason, she gradually fell out of favor and lost her status. Forget it. Luo Qingxin waved her hand and said, You go rest first. Hey, system, can I ask a question? Ask the system responded. Then can you at least tell me how to get to the imperial study? The imperial study is through the imperial garden. Where's the imperial garden? Host, this is the second question. Fine, if there's nothing else, you can go and rest. At least for now. I don't think there's any difference with or without you. It had to be said that the imperial garden in the imperial palace was very easy to find. After all, it was a place full of flowers. Looking at the eunuch outside the imperial study, Luo Qingxin knew that she couldn't enter through the front door. Originally, he wanted to ask the system if it had something like sleeping pills, but it would definitely say yes, and then say, Host, you have no experience points, no exchange points. Aya, how infuriating. When she completed this mission and had tons of exchange points, she would exchange them hundreds of times. Damn it, he had emptied that broken system. Host, please don't be delusional. F***CK, didn't I ask you to kneel down? Host, you could try to escape from the roof. The roof? Luo Qingshun felt that what it said was reasonable this time, so she bypassed the eunuch's eyes and ears and climbed up from the innermost pillar. Because this wall didn't lead to the outside of the palace, it wasn't very high. The distance from the wall to the roof was not high either. She could climb up there. However, there was still a problem. How was she going to get down after she climbed up? But as soon as she reached the roof, she found that the problem she was worried about was not a problem at all, because she fell directly into the imperial study. F***CK. The beams and tiles of this ancient imperial palace were very weak. Host, this was caused by the rain a few days ago. You deliberately want me to fall to my death. Chapter 7. She opened her eyes in fear and blinked. Zhao Yang's handsome face appeared in front of her. He really was handsome. His skin was white, his lips were slightly pursed, and his dark eyes were filled with the domineering aura of a king. Qing Chun. Zhao Yang was clearly a bit surprised. How long had it been since he last saw her? She was currently releasing a light aura, and her beautiful eyes were sparkling, as if time hadn't left a single trace on her face. She was holding his neck, and there was a faint blush on her face. Emperor. Luo Qingshun looked away in embarrassment as she softly called out to him. His eyes were a bit hot and a bit confused. Once upon a time, she had appeared this beautiful, but he couldn't see it. Then he saw it and married her. But she had been cold to him for 4 years, so why did she suddenly? Ding, affection has increased by 5. Mission completion rate is now 55%. Damn, it increased just like that. If it was this easy, wouldn't she be able to complete the mission in just a few minutes and receive a large gift? Emperor. This servant heard a sound from inside the room. Does the emperor need something that this servant needs to come in? The eunuch outside had heard the movement inside, but without Zhao and Yang's summon, he didn't dare come in. No need to come in. Zhao and Yang's cool as water voice sounded in her ears, making her heart skip a beat. He regained his rationality and put her down. He walked to the desk and sat down, keeping a distance from her. He said in a cold voice, "Why are you here?" Indeed, people would change. When Zhao and Yang had nothing in the past, the stubbornness in his eyes was different from normal people. Now that he had been a master of the Eastern continent for 3 years, naturally, he had a domineering aura. Thinking of the past, if he had spoken to her like this, he would have been beaten to death by her father, all right? No, she would have beaten him to death already, all right? No, she wasn't willing to. I just understood something. Luo Qingshun gave a soft laugh as the tassel hairpin on her head slightly swayed. When she smiled, there were shallow dimples on her cheeks. Her eyes were clear and bright, making people unable to help but stare at her. Understood what? Zhao and Yang raised a brow as he looked at her and said this. Luo Qingshun blinked and said with a smile, "A man can have 3 wives and 4 concubines, let alone the emperor." Ding, affection has decreased by 10. Mission completion rate is now 45%. Mother Kerr, are you crazy? Why reduce it by 10? Even if I said something wrong, it should be reduced by 5. Do you understand the fairness of addition and subtraction? System notification. The male lead doesn't like this sentence. F***CK, I know. You've already lost 10 pounds. I'd be an idiot if I didn't understand. Forget it. You can go back. Zhao and Yang waved his hand and was about to call for the eunuch outside the door. Wait. Luo Qingqing's eyes became misty as she said sadly, "I just miss you." System? 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 Was there no notification sound? It didn't increase the favorability points? Shouldn't she add 15 points for saying something so pretentious? Host, please focus. The male lead is looking at you. What did you say? Zhao and Yang was stunned, his eyes filled with disbelief. She actually said that she missed him. Since he had met her, she had never said a single soft word, always doing things in a decisive manner, including to him. Sometimes he even doubted if she had ever loved him after all these years. Or perhaps she was just too possessive. After all, the Luo Qingxun in the past could get anything she wanted. Chapter 8. I said that I missed you, Kuka. Luo Qingxun looked at him with clear eyes with a faint smile as she said this word for word in an incomparably serious manner. She specially coughed twice to show that she was very weak. There was no problem. The original host was indeed very weak before. Now that she thought about it, the original host seemed to have died around this time. Zhao and Yang's eyes lit up as he looked at her pale face and said, "What are you standing there for? Come over here." Luo Qingxun lifted her skirt and sat down beside him with a smile. As expected, tomorrow's exam questions were on the table. "It's so late. What is the emperor looking at these for?" Luo Qingxun's voice was very soft, making people have improper thoughts. Of course, this included Zhao and Yang. His ears were slightly red, and his heart couldn't help beating faster. Over the years, other than occasionally seeing Yanwu say, he had never seen another woman. He even felt like he wasn't interested in that aspect. But now that she was sitting beside him, there was a faint fragrance coming from her body and a faint blush on her white and tender face. Those light pink lips made people want to kiss them. What to do? He couldn't control himself. Luo Qingxun saw that he wasn't speaking and slightly turned her eyes, but she found that his handsome face was coming closer and closer. She blinked, and when she was about to close her eyes, Zhao and Yang's body moved back to his original position. This made Luo Qingxun feel a bit strange. Was she not beautiful enough? Or was he not good in that aspect? No wonder. He and Yanwu Sei had been together for so many years, but they didn't even have a doll. This one is writing the exam questions for tomorrow's exam. Zhao and Yang pretended to be calm as he said this. In that moment, he had a sudden urge to hug her in his arms. But in the next second, he felt that he was too anxious. She had just walked out of the shadows of the past. So if they suddenly, would he make her remember and ignore him again? What exam questions? Luo Qingxun slowly leaned against him as she said in a sweet voice. Zhao and Yang's body froze. He glanced sideways at her slightly raised lips. She pursed her lips cutely. He immediately closed his eyes, as if clearing his mind. He coughed and said, "Marching strategy. F***, it's over." With a single glance, it was obvious that Suli did not know the slightest bit about marching tactics. What to do? System. My hidden quest failure doesn't count toward my total experience, right? It's all 0 anyway, so there's no point in deducting it. Negative value can be deducted, and all gift bags will be confiscated. The system's emotionless voice sounded. "Damn, you're ruthless. You want my gift bag? Dream on. Why did you come up with such a question?" Luo Qingxun blinked and asked. It's a man's responsibility to protect his country. Zhao and Yang did not look him in the eye. Instead, his gaze fell on the big question on the desk. She had always been by his side, advising him when he was in battle. When they finally rode their horses over the last city in the east, he heard her, and she didn't want to talk to him anymore. All these years, he only thought about her. If he couldn't win her heart, then at least he had to ensure her safety. Luo Qingxun was stunned. She seemed to understand what he meant. She smiled and said, "I think that since the Zhao country is so peaceful and harmonious, there's no need to rush to accept talents who are good at marching and fighting." "Oh." Zhao and Yang raised an eyebrow. He was a bit interested. He cleared his throat and said, "Then what kind of talents are suitable to accept now?" Chapter 9. Emperor, think about it. The current Zhao country is strong and rich, but the citizens aren't that rich. The eastern side is so big. There are some cities where the citizens are still chewing on tree bark. Luo Qingxun picked up a pen from the table and drew a rough map of the eastern side on a piece of paper. Of course, the reason she could draw this was because of the previous host. After all, the previous host had read military books for Zhao and Yang's future. She memorized the map and memorized it in her heart. She looked at Zhao and Yang and found that he was seriously listening to her. She couldn't help feeling happy in her heart. For example, the people of this city produce tea leaves, and the people of this city are good at refining weapons. However, there's a place where the people of this city have never seen tea leaves, and a place where the people of this city have never seen weapons. I understand. Zhao and Yang cut her off, and his eyes lit up as he said, Qing, Er's meaning is that tea leaves are cheap things in this city, but they are expensive things in that city. That's right. After all, rare things are expensive. Luo Qingshun gave a soft laugh, showing that she was very satisfied. Perhaps it was because he was seriously listening to her thoughts, or perhaps it was because he called her Qing that made her heart tremble. Zhao and Yang's eyes filled with joy. She was right. The country was strong when the people were rich. Ding, affection has increased by 5. Mission completion rate is now 50%. Damn, system, why is it always 5 when it increases affection and 10 when it decreases? Did you make a mistake when you became the system? The algorithm isn't up to standard, all right? The system ignored her and continued to seek death. Qing, it's already late. You sleep first. This one still has to change the exam. He turned and looked at her with eyes as gentle as water as he spoke. Luo Qingshun shook her head. Her long hair slightly swayed with her head, and the tassel hairpin on her head made a jingling sound. It made one's heart fill with joy. I'll just lie here for a bit. When the emperor is done, you can call me. Luo Qingshun leaned to the left and slightly flicked her sleeve. The water-green wide-sleeve dress was spread out on the paper. She closed her eyes, and her long lashes slightly trembled. So beautiful, truly beautiful. Ding, affection has increased by 5. Mission completion rate is now 55%. Damn it, he had put in so much effort, and now he was back to square one. Okay, Zhao and Yang wanted to refuse and let her sleep on the bed first. But looking at her beautiful face, he suddenly felt reluctant to let her leave him. The next morning, when Luo Qingshun woke up, Zhao Anyang was no longer by her side. She was wearing a white leopard fur coat, and his scent was still on her. She stretched lazily and walked out of the imperial study. However, she didn't expect to see 4 palace maids guarding the door as soon as she opened it. This servant greets madam. The palace maids looked at their new mistress with smiles. Of course, Xiao Qiu, who had been with her for so many years, was among them. Even though he had a rough idea of what was going on, he still wanted to ask. This servant was bestowed to Madame by His Majesty. In the future, this servant will serve Madame's daily needs. Xiao Qiu was obviously the happiest one. The curve of her mouth was so high that her dimples could be seen. Luo Qingshun nodded to show she understood. Zhao and Yang was quite considerate, especially sending someone to find Xiao Qiu. He should be afraid that she wouldn't be used to it. Cuckoo, such a warm and caring man. But this ancient era was different. She hadn't even slept with the emperor, and he had already given her 4 palace maids. As expected, rich people were willful. Chapter 10. After washing up, she was wearing a honey-colored satin robe with a white jade hairpin on her head. She walked towards the exam courtyard with a face full of spring breeze. She had done so much for the hidden quest. If she didn't see how Su Li did, she would be letting herself down. When she arrived at the exam courtyard, it was the end of the exam. There were many villagers gathered at the entrance, all of them waiting for their son to finish the exam. Luo Qingshun tiptoed to see Su Li with a confident smile on his face, walking towards the light. Over here, over here. Luo Qingshun waved her hand at him. That. He quickly ran over and said in an excited voice, Do you know? This time's exam questions are something I'm good at. I know. Luo Qingshun said with a smile. Nonsense, of course I know. It's all because of me, all right? Su Li was a bit stunned. He looked at Luo Qingshun with a smile and said, I still don't know what this misname is. Luo Qingshun. Falling into prosperity, a generation of cities. Su Li revealed a gentle smile as his eyes sparkled as he said, Good name. Z, a scholar really is different. A name can bring out so many things. Admiration. Thank you. She gave him a faint smile that was just like a warm spring breeze. Ding, affection has decreased by 5. Mission completion rate is now 50%. Damn, why? Ding, affection has decreased by 5. Mission completion rate is now 45%. Damn, wait a minute. Don't decrease it. System notification. The male lead is nearby. I know. Can you decrease it that much if he's not nearby? Luo Qingshun felt a chill run down her back, but she didn't dare turn around. She knew that he was standing not far behind her, but she didn't know that it wasn't just Zhao and Yang standing not far behind her. There was also his harem's only concubine, Yin Wu Sei, and that dark peach blossom. Zhao and Yang looked at him with a pale face. His eyes that were like thousand-year-old ice narrowed as he looked at the beautiful woman not far away. Her smile was so gentle, as if it could melt all the ice and snow of this year, as if it could melt his cold heart. However, she wasn't smiling at him. She was smiling at another man. Why did he feel so uncomfortable? This feeling was even worse than when she shut herself in and ignored him completely. In his heart, even if she ignored him, she would only love him deeply. But now, she was smiling so gently at someone else. What was this? Tao Huan narrowed her eyes and looked at Luo Qingshun, who was not too far away. She said angrily, "Your Highness, it was this damned girl who wanted to snatch your Highness's clothes from me yesterday. In the end, she even ruined your clothes." Peach Blossom's voice was very loud. Luo Qingshun, who was not far away, heard it clearly. "My God, this Peach Blossom, why doesn't she go to heaven?" "What did you say?" Zhao and Yang's tone did not have a trace of warmth, and his eyes even had a faint killing intent. In this world, except for him, no one had the right to say anything bad about her, let alone a lowly servant. "Your Majesty, what's wrong?" Yin Wu Sei had been by Zhao and Yang's side for so long, so she naturally knew that he was very angry right now. But she didn't understand why he was angry. Could it be that you can't see who that person is? Zhao and Yang's tone was still extremely cold. In the next second, he stood with his hands behind his back and angrily walked towards Luo Qingshun. Yin Wu Sei's body trembled as she looked at that familiar back. In an instant, her body began to tremble uncontrollably. Beside her, Tao Hua hurried forward to support her and anxiously asked, "Your Highness, what's wrong?" Chapter 11. In the next second, Luo Qingshun felt her wrist being twisted by a strong force. She stumbled back and fell into Zhao and Yang's arms. "My lord, wife, are you all right?" Zhao and Yang's eyes had a trace of jealousy. Inch by inch, his overbearing aura completely swallowed her. Oh my God, was he jealous? My wife. Su Li was stunned. He looked up at Zhao and Yang and revealed an awkward smile. He is my husband." Luo Qingshun revealed a faint smile and leaned her head against Zhao and Yang's chest as she spoke. "Ding, affection has increased by 5. Mission completion rate is now 50%. Phew, that was close." Zhao and Yang really liked Little Women. She could hide in his arms and let him protect her. The next second, Su Li recovered from the shock. He cupped his hands and said politely, "I'm sorry, I didn't know Miss Luo was already married. I'm sorry to offend you." Although he didn't know who the man in front of him was, he could feel the king's aura. He couldn't be an ordinary person. Zhao and Yang's eyebrows relaxed. He narrowed his eyes and looked at Su Li. He said coldly, "It's fine. It's late. I'll leave now." In ancient times, women would tie up their hair after they got married. Luo Qingshun's hair still reached her waist. No wonder he didn't know about it. But why was he still angry? It was as if he would be jealous if other men looked at her. Then, he held Gu Qingxing's hand and walked towards the palace. As soon as they entered the palace, Zhao and Yang let go of her hand and walked quickly to the imperial study without looking back. Before Luo Qingshun could react, he had already disappeared around the corner of the palace corridor. Her hand was still warm, but her heart was cold. It was her fault. After all, Zhao and Yang was the master of the East Continent. Seeing his wife talking and laughing with other people, he couldn't help feeling uncomfortable. Thinking of this, she couldn't help complaining about her system. If it hadn't randomly accepted side missions, she wouldn't have made the main mission so difficult. System notification. The male lead likes to eat the dishes cooked by the female lead. Yo, you've finally found your conscience, haven't you? You've finally realized that your huge mistake has led to such irreversible and serious consequences. Right? Host, please do not fantasize. Humph. Luo Qingshun lightly snorted, indicating that she didn't want to argue with this broken system. She did not seem to be very good at cooking. However, she did think of some dishes. As the saying goes, what you eat is what you nourish. She hadn't had any children for so many years. Her kidneys must be bad. The system expressed its helplessness, but it did not intend to give the host any hints. Luo Qingshun helped little Chiao and spent 4 hours to prepare a table full of dishes. Among them were stewed turtle with pork belly, goji berry and mutton soup, walnut black rice sauce, stir-fried dried scallops with yam. Why do I feel like these dishes are different from what the imperial kitchen usually cooks for His Majesty? Xiao Qiu was puzzled. She didn't know why her master wanted her to make these dishes. It's just a change of taste. Help me put these dishes into the basket. I'll go to the imperial study. Luo Qingshun chuckled. She didn't want to say too much to Xiao Qiu. At this moment, Zhao and Yang was a little anxious in the imperial study. Just now, he had coldly left her alone. She must have felt terrible in her heart. It was all his fault. He knew it was a misunderstanding, but he still bullied her because of his jealousy. Chapter 12. Let her in. Although Zhao and Yang's face was still indifferent, his heart was filled with joy. In the past, whenever they quarreled, she would always be overbearing, waiting for him to coax her. At that time, she had the entire Luo family behind her, leaving him in the dust. Now that he was the master of the Eastern continent, she had never given him any leeway. But today, Luo Qingshun was holding a basket as she poked her head in. She was wearing a purple robe that made her look especially beautiful. Her watery eyes seemed to be able to speak as she blinked and looked at him with a smile. "Emperor, have you eaten dinner yet?" Luo Qingshun looked at him and said with a faint smile, "If you haven't eaten yet, I made you something to eat." "You made it?" Zhao and Yang was stunned as he felt a bit of disbelief. Whether it was in the past or now, her status was incomparably high, so she rarely cooked. He still deeply remembered that year when he was sick in bed. She cooked a bowl of peach blossom soup for him and fed him mouthful by mouthful. The scene in front of him was like a passing cloud. He was stunned as he realized that so many years had passed. "Oh," she rubbed her hair and said with a bit of embarrassment, "I made it with little Chiao. My cooking skills aren't that good. Come, heat up the food that the madam brought over." "Yes, Emperor." Eunuch Lin came in and took the food from Luo Qingshun's hands before respectfully leaving. "What are you standing there for? Come and sit down." Seeing her cook for him and still acting like a yes man, most of the anger in his heart dissipated. Luo Qingshun gave a soft laugh as she quickly walked over to his side. "Slow down." Zhao and Yang knit his brows and reached out to hold her hand. When his warm hand touched her slightly cold hand, his brows knit even deeper as he said in a reproachful voice, "Wearing so little, your hand is cold." Luo Qingshun was stunned as she felt her face turn red. Her fan-like eyelashes slightly trembled as she looked up and pursed her lips as she said, "I'm not cold." Zhao and Yang looked at her cute and shy appearance. She pursed her lips slightly and looked at the charming color. His gaze finally landed on her pink lips. His heart warmed as he kissed her. Luo Qingshun was stunned as she was frozen in place. Her eyes kept blinking as she looked at the mesmerizing face in front of her. She almost forgot to breathe. "System, he kissed me. Ding, affection has increased by 10. Mission completion rate is now 60%. Cough, cough, that's fine too. If he kissed her for a while longer, would he be able to add 40 points and complete the mission?" The system ignored her as usual, and it continued to play dead. After a long time, Zhao and Yang gently let go of her. His eyes flashed with a burning gaze. He reached out and lifted her chin slightly with his slender fingers. Then, he planted a final kiss on her flushed cheeks. How long had it been since he had kissed her like this? Looking at her fair skin with a faint blush, she looked like a little woman standing beside him. His feeling was really good that, seeing that he didn't say anything, Luo Qingshun's soft voice softly sounded as she whispered, "I only met Su Li yesterday." "And I know." Zhao and Yang gently pushed the strands of hair on her face behind her ear as he spoke in a soft voice. "What, you know? Damn, why didn't you say so earlier? You made father waste time making a table full of dishes to ask for forgiveness." System notification. To avoid deducting points, host expression should not be too fierce. Chapter 13. You know, Luo Qingshun was a bit surprised. It seemed like she had underestimated the emperor's ability. Yes, he knew. She smiled at a strange man like this. As a jealous emperor, he would naturally investigate everything as soon as he returned to the imperial study. Of course, this also included the matter of Tao Hua bullying her. He would definitely settle this debt properly. He nodded and said, "Before you came, I took a look at Su Li's imperial exam paper. Damn, it's over." Luo Qingshun was stunned, and her eyes revealed a bit of fear. She lowered her head and said, "I was wrong. Where was your mistake?" Zhao and Yang had only guessed that Luo Qingshun coming to find him that night was related to Su Li's imperial exam. But now, she looked like she was admitting her mistake. Naturally, his guess was correct. I shouldn't have changed the exam topic so that Su Li could pass the exam. Luo Qingshun raised her hands and continued to say, with a look of surrender, "But I feel that the business strategy does help the flow of goods between the cities, but it doesn't completely help him. It's not too late to admit your mistake." Zhao and Yang looked at her pure appearance and couldn't bear to blame her. After all, he knew that she was a person who would repay kindness. As for Su Li and her, they had only met the day before. The boss of Splendid Embroidery Lane had already told the people he sent. Thinking of this, he couldn't help feeling sorry for her. He had actually left her behind today, and she was afraid that he would be angry, so she had prepared dinner for him. With a daughter like this, what more could a man ask for? Eunuch Lin is heating the food so slowly. It hasn't been sent up yet. Come, bring the food up. How could Eunuch Lin be slow in heating the food? He knew what the emperor was thinking. Without the emperor's summons, how could he dare to disturb his time alone with his wife? In the next second, Eunuch Lin brought the palace maids over with hot food. The palace maids bowed and retreated gracefully. Eunuch Lin closed the door and silently stood guard outside. Luo Qingshun tugged at his sleeve and asked tentatively, "Let's eat." "Okay." He smiled gently and held her hand firmly. Luo Qingshun sat down and looked at Zhao and Yang with an excited expression. She smiled and said, "Which dish does the emperor like to eat? In the future, I will have the imperial kitchen make it for you every day." One had to know that although there were meat and vegetables, every dish had one thing in common. That was nourishing the kidneys. "Don't you remember what we like to eat?" Zhao and Yang looked at the dishes in front of him with a trace of disappointment in his eyes. He didn't like any of these dishes, but it wasn't his fault. After all, it had been so many years. It was normal for her not to remember. "Your Majesty, some of the things you like to eat are not good for your health. The dishes I prepared for you are all nourishing." Luo Qingshun naturally saw his disappointed expression and hurriedly explained. "Supplement what?" Zhao and Yang's eyes lit up. Looking at the dishes in front of him, he seemed to have thought of something as he asked in a half-believing, half-doubtful voice. "Nourishing the kidneys." Luo Qingshun did not even think about it as she directly spoke. But the moment she opened her mouth, she regretted it. "Damn, system, what do I do? I spilled the beans. Damn, don't deduct my friend points. I'll make it right. System notification. Host is seeking death. Please bear the consequences. Damn it, look at your gloating face." The system expressed its helplessness. It didn't know how the host could hear the schadenfreude in its mechanical voice. His meaning is that our kidneys are not good, or... Zhao and Yang's deep eyes were filled with a burning gaze. He reached out to grab her waist and pulled her into his embrace. He could feel the soft scent from her body lingering around his nose. He could no longer control himself as he kissed her alluring lips again. Chapter 14. He gently placed her on the bed. Looking at her bright eyes and flushed cheeks, he couldn't control himself anymore. He bent down and kissed her. "Damn, system. Do you have a substitute or something like that? Give me one. Don't tell me you don't have any experience points or exchange points. Okay? Damn. I'll make it up later. I'll make it up later." The system's cold words lingered in her ears. The system's heart expressed that it didn't want to, but that person had said that as long as the person fell in love with him, it definitely couldn't ruin his good times. Damn, are you doing this on purpose? Luo Qingshun blinked her eyes in a panic. Zhao and Yang touched her eyes and softly said, "Are you scared?" She looked away in embarrassment. She pursed her lips, and her heart was beating fast. "Cuckoo, it's not that I'm scared. I'm just a little shy." Before she could say the words in her heart, Zhao and Yang got up from her body. He didn't know why, but seeing her unwilling eyes, he felt a little uncomfortable in his heart. "Where are you going?" She knew that her actions just now might have hurt him. At this moment, she was already pulling on the corner of his clothes in grievance, like a docile little lamb. Damn, isn't she just a little shy? "You sleep first. I still have some documents to take care of." Zhao and Yang picked up the blanket and gently covered her as he spoke in a gentle voice. Thinking about it, they had been estranged for so many years. It wasn't something that could be restored in a short period of time. If she needed time, he would wait for her. What? Take care of documents? Didn't the books say that a night of spring was worth 1,000 gold? Luo Qingqian blinked, and her face was filled with confusion. But what could she do? Looking at Zhao and Yang's back as he walked into the main hall, Luo Qingqian thoughtfully nodded her head. She knew the answer. In the end, it was because he wasn't good enough. The next morning, she was woken up by some noise at the door. She opened the beautiful bead curtain and saw the other 3 maids, but she didn't see Xiao Qiu, who was always by her side. She could only casually ask someone, "What's that sound?" Replying to Madame, "This servant doesn't know." Luo Qingqian frowned, cleared her throat, and said, "Help me change my clothes." Opening the door, a ray of dazzling sunlight shone on her white cheeks. She narrowed her eyes and looked at a face that she hadn't seen in a long time. "It's been a long time, elder sister." When Yin Wusei saw her, she inexplicably stepped back. However, he still forced a smile and looked at her. The birthmark on her face was covered by a thick layer of makeup. Although it was not very clear, the thick makeup made her look extremely old. His face seemed to have stiffened. After seeing Zhao and Yang bring Luo Qingqian back yesterday, Yin was naturally had to prepare herself. If she wanted to survive in this harem, she had to do something. "Madam," Xiao Qiu wanted to say something, but Luo Qingqian shook her head at her. "Damn, little white flower. Looking for trouble so early in the morning? I want to see what kind of tricks you can play. Come on, there's plenty of time anyway. You look so rough. I'm not afraid of you." Yin Wusei? Luo Qingqian's cold eyes narrowed as she looked at the woman in front of her. "How dare you?" Seeing this, Tao Hua screamed in a sharp voice. "How can you just casually use the imperial concubine's name?" Chapter 15. Luo Qingqian's strength was not small. Tao Hua was sent back a few steps, and her head buzzed. Yin Wusei was stunned, and her face turned pale. She gritted her teeth and said, "Why is Big Sister like this? I saw that Big Sister just arrived." "Just arrived what? Just arrived?" Luo Qingqian gave 2 cold laughs. "Yin Wusei, what kind of person are you? Do you think I don't know?" This woman really was shameless. The previous host's tragic ending was because of her, but now she was still smiling and calling her Big Sister. Wasn't she disgusting? I'm afraid Big Sister has misunderstood. In the past, Big Sister, Luo Qingqian's slender fingers swept across her cheeks as her eyes filled with ridicule. Her lips curled as she said, "You look like this, and you're not embarrassed to call me Big Sister?" Poochie. Tao Hua couldn't help laughing behind her. She never knew that her master was so eloquent. Every word she said didn't have a single curse word, but it still hurt. System prompt. The supporting female lead has turned dark. Damn, she turned dark again? The people here all had glass hearts. If Yin Wusei's heart was like this, how could she live in the harem? Other than the supporting female lead, there is no one else in the harem. Damn, what you said seems to make some sense. Yin Wusei's face turned pale, and her face gradually turned fierce. She gritted her teeth and said, "Luo Qingqian, don't go too far. Right now, I am the only empress in the harem. You're just someone who can't even compare to a palace maid." After saying this, she waved her sleeve and shouted, "Someone come, drag this Xiao Qiu away and beat him 100 times before locking him in the water prison." As soon as her voice fell, the 2 eunuchs behind Yin Wusei came forward to grab Xiao Qiu. Damn, system. She wanted to hit someone. Wolf Tooth Club. Wolf Tooth Club. I've already completed the side quest. Give me the Wolf Tooth Club you promised. System prompt. Exchange for Wolf Tooth Club. Damn, at least you have a conscience. My Luo family. A centipede won't fall down even if it dies. Yin Wu say, you're just a slave of a conquered country. What do you have to fight me? After saying that, Luo Qingshun narrowed her eyes, took out the mace that the system gave her, and hit Yin Wu Sei's face with it. In an instant, the spikes of the mace pierced into her already stiff skin, causing blood to flow out. The surrounding people were not prepared at all. They did not expect that the woman in front of them would pull out such a strange weapon. Luo Qingshun grabbed Xiao Qiu's hand and ran in another direction. Every 3 steps he took, he would look back to see if anyone was chasing after him. Before she could figure out what to do next, she bumped into a warm chest. Just as she was about to be sent flying, a pair of warm and strong hands tightly hugged her waist, allowing her to hang onto his body. What's wrong? Why are you so flustered? Zhao and Yang frowned and looked at her. If he had bumped into something else, wouldn't he have been injured? If she bumped into someone else's arms? Thinking of this, his heart began to fill with jealousy for no reason. Looking at the soft breathing of the girl in front of him, there was a faint fragrance coming from her body. Just by hugging her gently, he could feel her fragrance lingering around him. That kind of warmth, that kind of indulgence. This feeling of being able to hug her with a single hand, it really was good. Ding! Affection has increased by 5. Mission completion rate is now 65%. Ha 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 ha. She actually added him as a friend. Hugging is really good. Hugging can increase friendship. Emperor, Emperor. Yin Wusei, not far away, covered her face as she ran over while crying. Damn, this little white flower was here to cause trouble for her. Just wait. If Big Sister's friendship is deducted, I will definitely kill you. Chapter 16. With a dong sound, Yin Wusei directly kneeled down. It was hard to tell if it was tears or blood on her face, but it was mixed together, making it look eerie and terrifying. Emperor, you have to make a decision for this minister's concubine. But the decibel in her voice didn't decrease at all. Ding! Yin Wusei's affection has decreased by 10, remaining 20%. This decrease was very reasonable. To be honest, if the male lead saw Yin Wusei's fierce face, I would decrease it by 30. The host really is whimsical. The system's cold words extinguished the flames of wanting to decrease by 30. Humph, broken system. She didn't know if it was because there was a barrier in her personality when she was in the storage, but it didn't understand human nature at all. Zhao and Yang didn't say anything. He looked like he had seen through everything as he narrowed his eyes to look at Yin Wusei kneeling on the ground. Peach Blossom stood up and pointed at Luo Qingshun kneeling as she said, Emperor, you have to make a decision for the concubine. That evil person had a weapon and wanted to kill the concubine. The master and servant pair were singing the same tune, and their acting was very realistic. Oh, weapon? Zhao and Yang raised a brow. Looking at the unknown object in Luo Qingshun's hand, he slightly knit his brows. Damn, these 2 black little white flowers. It was clearly her who wanted to kill Xiao Qiu. Not to mention 300 feet, with Xiao Qiu's body, she would have died in 500 feet. She was just defending herself. Don't you have common sense? Luo Qingshun slightly lowered her eyes as she put the mace in her right hand behind her. She shouted in her heart, System, system, do you have the ability to instantly take back the mace? I've already used it, so I don't need it for now. You can take it back first. Next time I need it, I'll ask you for it. Not for now. The system directly rejected her without any emotions. Why is it not for now? Then you mean that you will have it in the future? Without exchange points, the virtual space cannot be opened. Damn, so angry. Zhao and Yang saw her shrink back and slightly reached out to take the hand behind her. Right, it's this. Yin Wusei seemed to have seen the light of justice. She cried out, This is the weapon she used to murder me. Zhao and Yang didn't turn to look at Yin Wus. Instead, he stared at Luo Qingshun, who looked a little aggrieved. Why did you bring such a dangerous thing out? He couldn't help but feel a little uncomfortable. If she didn't feel insecure, why would she keep such a thing by her side? As soon as the morning court ended, she heard Eunuch Lin report that Yin was gonna find her. His heart instantly hung up. He had just enjoyed her tenderness and clinginess by his side. What if something happened? What should he do? Luo Qingshan wanted to explain, but was interrupted by Zhao and Yang. You're so reckless to bring such a dangerous thing with you. What if you fall and hurt yourself? At this moment, Yin was froze on the spot. She was the victim. Why was she worried about that woman? Why? His eyes were filled with her, and he didn't even look at her. It's her. She was the one who was injured, the vicious woman with the weapon in her hand. She should be punished? But why did she hear his words? It was the emperor who was full of care and gentleness towards her. It was like he was protecting a treasure, holding her in the palm of his hand. She slightly looked up at him and saw that his eyes were filled with worry. Luo Qingshan was stunned. Her heart was moved, and a trace of mist gradually appeared in her eyes. Xiao Qiu, here. Chapter 17. Xiao Qiu, let's go back and watch the show. Halfway through, Luo Qingshan suddenly said to Xiao Qiu behind her. Since ancient times, it had always been the female lead abusing the supporting female lead. She suddenly wanted to know what it felt like to be the male lead abusing the supporting female lead. All right, but the emperor had just said that she had to properly serve the madam, and now the madam was eavesdropping. If she was found out, wouldn't she be punished? No buts. Relax, I'm here. I'll beat whoever hits you with my mace. There was nothing wrong with that. It would be a waste if he didn't use it. They passed through a small path in the imperial garden and arrived at the scene of the incident. Emperor Yin Wusei knelt on the ground and pulled on Zhao and Yang's dragon robe as she cried, Emperor, you can't treat this concubine like this. Haven't I tolerated you enough? What kind of person are you? Do you think this one doesn't know? Zhao and Yang gave a cold snort and flicked his dragon robe, causing Yin Wusei to fall to the ground. Emperor, this concubine truly loves the emperor. Yin Wusei bit her lip, and her face was pale. Over the past few years, she seemed to be the most pampered in the harem, but Zhao and Yang had never touched her. She hadn't even gone to his Zichan Palace Hall a few times. The few times she had gone, she had seen him staring at a portrait on the wall. The person in the portrait was the old Luo Qingshan. She was becoming more beautiful. Even with makeup, she was still so beautiful. When you saved this one in the past, this one had flattened all the cities in the eastern continent, but this one still remembered your kindness. Zhao and Yang's eyes were ice cold as he gritted his teeth and said, But you personally killed this one's child. Not far away, Luo Qingshan's heart was stunned. She thought that this man didn't care about the child. At least, she and the original host thought so. But looking at his bloodshot eyes, she could feel his forbearance from the bottom of her heart. Emperor, the way you looked at this concubine in the past. In the past, this one just felt that I wasn't worthy of her. Zhao and Yang narrowed his eyes as the scene of the past appeared in his mind. In the past, he was a person with nothing, and she had the absolute power of the Luo family behind her. Everyone in the academy said that she was devastatingly beautiful, but he was blind. We have never felt anything other than gratitude towards you. Zhao and Yang's cold eyes narrowed as he spoke. He had gotten everything he wanted in his life, except for love. Speaking of which, it was quite funny. After an emperor ascended the throne, he actually left his harem empty, just waiting for that person to return. He had hurt her too deeply. He had seen with his own eyes that she had turned from a domineering person into a person of few words. She did not hesitate to ruin her appearance and shut herself off. Yin Wusei was instantly stunned. Seeing the person she loved so deeply being so heartless, her heart was broken all over the floor. She frantically shook her head and said, No, no. Your Majesty, you love me. Ha 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 ha. I also told that bitch. I told her, if you become like me, the emperor might look at you more. Ha ha ha. Do you know the result? She really puts on makeup every day. How ugly. She's old and wrinkled. Ha ha. Ding. Yin Wusei's affection has decreased by 20. There is now 0% remaining. It's decreased, it's decreased, it's decreased. This person's current appearance looks like she's about to go crazy. Zhao and Yang's heart trembled. So she put on that strange makeup every day, not to ruin herself, but rather to make him like her. This silly girl, she actually believed such unrealistic words. To her at that time, she must have been desperate. Ding, affection has increased by 5. Mission completion rate is now 70%. Chapter 18. Inside the Zichen Hall, there was a painting on the wall. There was a woman wearing a red cloak with a face that could cause the fall of a country. She was holding a large red umbrella as she stood in the snow. The bells on her ankles were gold and silver as she looked at the youth kneeling on the ground. "We like this back then?" A cold-as-water voice came from behind her. Luo Qingshun looked back and saw Zhao and Yang slowly walking towards her. She gave a soft laugh and looked at him with a bit of panic as she asked, "The Emperor's memory is quite good. After all these years, you can still remember it clearly. This was what this one drew in the past." His deep eyes rippled like water as he calmly looked at her. Luo Qingshun was stunned as her eyes filled with disbelief. Her eyes were fixed on the date in the lower right corner. 5th year of Zhaoyin. She pursed her lips and said, "In the past." Was he blind in the past? How could a blind person draw her like this, and it was so accurate? Is it strange? Zhao and Yang's cold hand swept across her face as he softly said, "I asked many people and was beaten several times." She stood there in a daze. She felt her nose ache and her tears almost fell down. The youth that had been bullied in the Li Lu Academy because of her, the youth that had been bullied by her even though he was blind, but still drew her. She had thought that he only had hatred for her. He hated her for murdering his mother. He hated her for using her power to hurt him. He hated her for using the heavenly mountain snow lotus and the Luo family's decree to force him to marry her. "I always thought that you never loved. This one has never envied anyone since I was young. But when I met you in the Li Lu Academy, there was not a single person that didn't admire you and like you. But this one can't even see what you look like. I envy them. At least they can see what you look like." Zhao and Yang leaned back in the Zichen Hall's chair and closed his eyes. He cut off Luo Qingshun's words as if he was reminiscing about the past. There was a bit of sadness in his eyes, but his lips were curled up. Some people's love was to show off, like Luo Qingshun. Some people's love was to be silent, like Zhao and Yang. Luo Qingshun walked to his side and was about to sit down. Zhao and Yang's large hands wrapped around her waist as he held her firmly in his embrace. He whispered in her ear, "Qing about King Luo." Luo Qingshun was slightly stunned, her face a little pale. She naturally knew what he wanted to say. The sudden death of the original owner's father was definitely not an accident, as the imperial physician had said. The original owner believed that it was Yin Wusei's doing, but there was no evidence. Yin Wu's country had been destroyed, so how could she have the ability to murder the Luo king? Little did they know that Yin Wusei's brother, Yin Zhen, had escaped a day earlier and was still alive in this world. He had trained a group of mysterious assassins and had killed the Luo king without anyone knowing. Zhao and Yang's heart ached when he saw her trying to hold back her heartache. The Luo king had shown him kindness in the past. If not for the Luo family, he would not have been able to sweep through all the cities in the eastern continent. He would not have been able to poison his father and dig out his brother's eyes to avenge his mother. "I don't blame you." Luo Qingshun shook her head. Seeing his hesitant face, she suddenly felt her heart ache. She loved him more than she hated him. The world was in chaos, but the past was the past. Everyone had to die. The Luo king had spent half his life on the battlefield and had died in peace. He had fulfilled all his wishes and had died a worthy death. Looking at the faint smile on her face, her eyes were as clear as water. She pursed her lips, and the pear blossom hairpin on her head swayed. She shook her head and softly told him that she did not blame him. Why was he so moved? He wanted to hold her in his arms for the rest of his life. Zhao and Yang reached out his large right hand and touched her face. His eyes darkened, and he lowered his head to steady her pink lips. Chapter 19. The past few days had been quite comfortable, but her favorability hadn't increased much, which made her feel very depressed. "System, why haven't you increased my favorability points recently? Are you stuck? Host, the male lead has only appeared twice in the past 5 days. The system's mechanical voice sounded. Is that so? Oh, it seems so. What do you think he's been busy with recently? He's been elusive all day long. Useless system. Luo Qingshan rolled her eyes as she fiddled with the new clothes he sent her these past few days. Each piece seemed to have been carefully selected, and the quality was completely different from what she saw at Jinqiu Square that day. On the 7th night of his busy schedule, Luo Qingshan slept alone in Zichen Palace Hall. Suddenly, her back became wet. In her dream, she stood in the underworld in a red dress. The red spider lily between her eyebrows glowed red, and everyone bowed down to her. System notification: the male lead is in danger. The male lead is in danger. The male lead is in danger. Fuck, who's talking? Who's talking? Luo Qingshan suddenly got up and breathed rapidly. She closed her eyes and beads of sweat fell from her forehead. She seemed to have thought of something and suddenly opened her eyes. System, what did you just say? Zhao and Yang is in danger? Why? Fuck, he's an emperor. Why would he be in danger? Yin Zhen's mysterious assassin organization will surround him in a thatched hut 10 li south of the city in 2 hours. 2 hours later? Fuck, system. I didn't expect you to have the ability to predict the future. This is worthy of praise. This system is very powerful. Luo Qingshan didn't think much and directly called Xiao Qiu. She told her to take Zhao and Yang's jade pendant to the Lingnan king's residence to find Zhao and Yang's sworn brother, Fu Hongyuan. She didn't know if there were any spies in the palace, so she didn't have the confidence to ask the imperial guards to save him. In the original owner's memory, this Fu Hongyuan was a trustworthy person. After all, they were friends in life and death. Zhao and Yang had once placed the commander's seal of Ming province's 50,000 troops far away from Fu Hong, just in case. She picked a red Fergana horse from the stables and galloped towards the south of the city. Suddenly, she felt a bit confused. Her mind was blank, and she felt like she didn't have enough time. System. How long until they surround the hut? Because she didn't have an accurate time tracking tool, Luo Qingshan could only estimate how long 2 hours had passed. Her heart was thumping so hard that she didn't dare to listen to the system's answer. Already surrounded, the system's cold voice sounded. Luo Qingshan felt her heart skip a beat. Looking in the direction of the flames, not far away, her hands couldn't help trembling. Why was her heart so painful? Wasn't she here to complete a mission? Why was she so scared? Luo Qingshan waved her whip and flew off in the direction of the hut. Dash! I thought that since my sister likes you so much, I could spare your life. Yin Zhen's eyes were red, and he was dressed in a black robe. He pointed his sword at Zhao and Yang and said, "But you actually chased her away? She's so infatuated with you, and you treat her like this." Zhao and Yang had 2 men of sacrifice standing in front of him, but Yin Zhen had nearly 20 people. He was calm. He had used himself as bait to lure Yin Zhen out to avenge the Luo king. But he didn't expect to underestimate Yin Zhen's ability. He had fallen into Yin Zhen's trap. He suddenly thought of that silly girl's face. If he died, she would be very sad. He didn't know why, but he had a perverted desire to see her sad face. Release the arrows. Seeing Zhao and Yang remain silent, Yin Zhen narrowed his eyes and said coldly. Arrows with flames flew in Zhao and Yang's direction. The 2 men of sacrifice stood in front of him, blocking and retreating. Yin Zhen snorted and picked up his bow. There were sharp, poisoned arrows on it. He gritted his teeth and said fiercely, "Die." It was a blind spot that couldn't be dodged. It was a 100% hit spot. In the blink of an eye, Luo Qingshan dashed out from the grass and used her body to block him. Chapter 20. So tired, her eyelids kept falling down. Her mind was in chaos as the surrounding sounds of swords and blades were overwhelming. She slightly raised her eyes and looked at the panicked man in front of her as he carried her through the forest. Zhao and Yang's 2 death soldiers had both died in front of the grass hut, but Fu Honyuan still had not arrived. In front was the cliff, behind was the pursuers. Zhao and Yang held her white dress that was completely dyed red as he stood on the edge of the cliff with a deathly stillness in his eyes. System prompt. The body has entered the danger zone. I know. The pain is very obvious, okay? And you don't need to be so tactful. Just say that I'm about to die. Yes. The system silently expressed that the host was not too stupid. Luo Qingshun slightly opened her eyes and looked at the flashing flames in front of her. She gently pulled Zhao and Yang's sleeve and said, Emperor, Qing don't speak. Zhao and Yang's eyes were red, and his lips were slightly trembling. His voice was filled with incomparable panic. She took a deep breath and blinked. There was a faint smile on her lips as she looked at his face that was on the verge of breaking down. She raised her hands, and her slightly cold fingertips slid across his face. Do you know? When I went to Qingnan Mountain to take the snow lotus in the sky, the blood on my white dress was the same as now. His heart was startled. Back then, he knew that going to Qingnan Mountain to take the snow lotus in the sky was definitely a narrow escape. Therefore, even if he knew that the heavenly mountain snow lotus could let him see the light again, he never thought of taking it. After all, it was simply an impossible matter. Under the heavens, in all directions, and 8 desolations. As far as he knew, there were very few people that could take the heavenly mountain snow lotus. On the other hand, the number of heroes that died on Qingnan Mountain was innumerable. Back then, she must have done her best just like she did today. Even her life, she did so much for him, but what did he do? Using the Luo family behind her to become an emperor, bringing back the daughter of a fallen country to the palace, and watching that woman personally destroy her most beloved child? When she was inconsolable, what did he do? Making Yin Wu say an imperial concubine and letting her spread rumors that she was the champion of the harem? And the woman that did all this for him was in a desolate palace, washing her face with tears every day. He was so useless. How could he say that he loved her? He didn't deserve her love. Qing Air. Zhao and Yang's body trembled uncontrollably, and a crystal-clear teardrop fell. Looking at her pale face, Zhao and Yang's heart felt like it was being twisted together. How he wished that the arrow had pierced his chest, and that he would die for her. Don't cry. Luo Qingshun could feel the scalding liquid on the back of her hand. She took a deep breath and said, I love you so much. I don't want you to be sad. I won't die, don't cry. At this moment, Zhao Yang was on the verge of collapsing. She was lying in his arms, covered in blood. Her face was pale, but her eyes were looking at him softly, at the brink of life and death. In order not to make him worry, she used the last of her strength to pull out a smile and surround him with warmth, softly coaxing him. Luo Qingshun, you cannot die. If you die, I will accompany you. He roared with all his strength, squatted down, and gently stroked her eyebrows with a pair of bony hands. His eyes were filled with determination. He used me, not this emperor. The blood in her body was slowly flowing out, and her mind was gradually becoming fuzzy. The last trace of consciousness collapsed. Everything in front of her went black, and she lost consciousness. Chapter 21. F*CK. When she finally felt that the end was right in front of her, why did she feel so cold? Stupid system. If I die, the mission will fail? Yes. Dear handsome and charming system, please let me live. Later, I'll buy you 2 candied haws, okay? 3? 4? Don't keep quiet, I'm scared. No need, you're not dead. The system finally couldn't take her sugar-coated bullets and coldly responded. Damn, why didn't you say so earlier? Luo Qingshun didn't know how long she slept. She only knew that she slept for a very, very long time. When she opened her eyes again, it was already a month later. A ray of bright sunlight shone into her eyes through the window, and she slightly opened her eyes. The first thing she saw was Xiao Qiu, who was by her bed. However, Xiao Qiu was so focused on wiping her body that she completely ignored her big, round eyes. Damn, little sister Xiao Qiu, stop wiping. Look at me, look at me. Xiao Qiu completely ignored the cries in her heart. While helping her wipe her feet, she said in a choked voice, Madam, when will you wake up? His Majesty has visited all the famous doctors in the Eastern continent, but none of them could wake you up. You can't leave this servant behind. Damn you. I'm awake, ah. Look at me, look at me. That's right, madam. This servant heard that noble consort Yin hanged herself outside the city gates yesterday. Her death was truly horrifying. Her entire face was scratched up and the blood dripped out bit by bit. Even the coroner was shocked. If Madam saw it, you might be able to eat an extra bowl of rice tonight. Eat an extra bowl of rice? This host wants to vomit after hearing the scene you described. Okay? Cough, cough. She didn't have any strength in her body, but she still coughed twice to make her presence known. Ah, Xiao Qiu stood there in a daze. Her eyes widened as she stuttered. Madam, madam, you're awake. Someone come. Quickly call the emperor. No. First call the imperial physician. Luo Qingqian swallowed her saliva and blinked her eyes. Madam, please don't speak. If you feel uncomfortable, please close your eyes for a while. The imperial physician will be here soon. Xiao Qiu was so anxious that her hands were trembling, but she didn't understand Luo Qingqian's simple and easy-to-understand eyes. Damn, I want to drink water. I'm so thirsty. Why was it so difficult to communicate with little Qiu? Sure enough, there was a generation gap between people, let alone 30,000 years. Once she regained her vitality, the first thing she would do was to teach little Qiu what telepathy between master and servant meant. Zhao and Yang came faster than she had imagined. Looking at his travel-worn appearance, he should have rushed back from another city on horseback. Luo Qingqian's eyes reddened the moment she saw him. She didn't have much strength, and her pale lips moved slightly. Like a worm in her stomach, he immediately understood. He ran to the table to pour a cup of hot water and gently helped her up. Ahem, little sister, little Qiu. This host takes back what she just said. The generation gap between people isn't because of the length of time, but because of the difference in intelligence. Gulping down large mouthfuls of water, Luo Qingqian felt that she had truly come back to life. The imperial physician stood to the side and knelt down to say, Madam's pulse is still weak, but it is gradually stabilizing. This official believes that there is no big problem. Chapter 22. While Luo Qingqian was recuperating, little Qiu heard a lot about the Yin family from her. Yin's face was disfigured by Luo Nanjun and hung on the city gate. Her death was extremely terrifying, and her eyes were about to fall out. Luo Nanjun was King Luo's younger brother, which meant he was her uncle. She was right about one thing. The Luo family was like a centipede that wouldn't fall down even in death. Yin had openly reached out her hands to Luo Qingqian, so the Luo family naturally had people to stand up for her. As for Yin Jun, it was said that Zhao and Yang didn't let him die, but sent him to the desolate swamp. What kind of place was the desolate swamp? As long as he was thrown there for one night, there wouldn't even be bones left the next day. This was a kind of perverted killing. She felt that the whole thing was perfect, but her favorability level was frozen at 90% like 1,000-year-old ice. Damn, it wouldn't be 90 for the rest of her life, right? The moment this thought floated through her mind, the corner of her mouth unconsciously revealed a trace of a smile. It seemed that it would be good if it was 90 for the rest of her life. Zhao and Yang was still very busy these days. Luo Qingqian didn't understand what he was busy with, but he would come back to Zichen Palace on time for dinner every night. Today he was in a good mood, so Luo Qingqian thought that she should make a meal for him. Jade porridge, sugar-steamed cheese, osmanthus sugar-steamed chestnut cake, rui cake, Hawan soup, pearl jadeite ball, jadeite shrimp dumplings. Luo Qingqian's nose twitched as she looked at the table full of dishes and nodded in satisfaction. Madam, why is the food you made today different from last time? Xiao Qiu on the side took out her favorite rose pastry and looked at Luo Qingqian as she spoke. She only felt her cheeks turn red as she rolled her eyes at little Qiu and said, Little Qiu, do you want to be caned? This time, this one has the same question as little Qiu. Zhao and Yang slowly walked over from not far away. He was wearing a blue and white robe and had a faint smile on his face. She rarely saw him wearing flowery clothes. In the past, it was either pure black or pure white. Little Qiu stuck out her tongue and saluted Luo Qingqian playfully. Then, she left obediently. Luo Qingqian pursed her lips and looked at Zhao and Yang with a delicate expression. Today, The emperor seems to have returned earlier than usual. Looking at her slightly arrogant expression and the soft smile on her lips, she looked at him seriously with a pair of bright eyes. Zhao Yang felt his heart tremble. He couldn't help but think of that day when she was dressed in white and covered in blood. His fingertips trembled slightly. Along with his rapid breathing, he quickly walked to her side and abruptly hugged her in his arms. Luo Qingshun was frightened by his sudden action. She blinked her eyes in panic and said, Your Majesty, what's wrong with you? You're not allowed to leave me alone in the future. I'll be scared. Zhao Yang hugged her tightly and whispered in her ears, I won't. We'll always be together. Luo Qingshun pursed her lips into a smile. She rubbed her little head against his chest, looking very cute. You're seducing me? Zhao Yang saw her soft body leaning against his body, and he immediately felt all the cells in his body jump. I'm not. Luo Qingshun quickly jumped out of his embrace. She looked at him with wide eyes and desperately shook her head. Then just treat it as me seducing you. He reached out and pulled her pink sleeves and pulled her into his embrace again. He sat down and placed her on his lap. With a faint smile, he said, Why didn't Qinger make stewed turtle, walnut black rice, wolfberry? Stop. Why is the emperor teasing me? Luo Qingshun felt her face turn red. This was truly embarrassing. You don't need to call me emperor anymore. Zhao Yang smiled and looked in her eyes as he said, When I said to little Chio, that was the last time I'll call myself that. Chapter 23. God, system, come out. Why is Zhao Yang not the emperor anymore? It can't be that while I was unconscious, Zhao Yang was forced to abdicate. God, what to do? Should I write a letter to my uncle first or run away first? He gave up his position on his own accord. The system did not want to answer her question, but it couldn't stand her noisy voice. I gave the throne to Fu Hongyuan. Zhao Yang rubbed her head and patiently explained, If I sit in this position, there will be enemies in the end. Although the palace is heavily guarded, I don't want you to be in any danger. Zhao Yang looked at her like he was spoiling a treasure as he caressed her cheeks. Luo Qingshun was stunned. She could only feel an indescribable emotion. So it was true that he didn't love beauties on the river. She raised her hand and wrapped it around his neck. She sniffed and leaned on his shoulder as she whispered, You're so good to me. Even if you can't do it, it doesn't matter. What? Can't do it? Zhao Yang's entire body was burning like a dragon. So in her heart, she still thought he couldn't do it? Emperor, big brother in Yang, whether you can't do it or not, I still love. Woo! Luo Qingshun did not even finish speaking before he leaned down and locked his lips with hers. His familiar tongue gently wrapped around her little mouth as he sucked in her gentleness inch by inch. What the hell? I haven't even finished confessing yet. How could I kiss her? In order to not be ruined, the system silently covered its eyes and ears. It didn't seem to have these things. After a long time, when her cheeks were completely red and she powerlessly fell into his embrace, he finally gently let her go. Qing Er's physical strength is so weak, you'll be tormented to death by me in the future. Zhao Yang looked at her shyly curled up in his embrace and began to tease her. Humph! She gave a soft snort. Her tone was like a moan, making him unable to resist leaning down and domineeringly kissing her lips again. The strength in his arms became tighter and tighter, as if he wanted to fuse with her. Her wound was accidentally touched, and she couldn't help but cry out in pain. Her face instantly turned pale. What's wrong? Zhao Yang immediately let go of her, his fingers trembling in panic. His eyes were filled with anxiety, like a child who had done something wrong. He stared deeply at her. Uffed. Luo Qingshun slightly recovered from the pain. Looking at his anxious face, she couldn't help but laugh. She leaned her body against his warm chest and softly said, Aren't you going to eat dinner? He had been busy the whole day and probably hadn't eaten anything yet. If he continued to kiss her, the food would turn cold. His desire, which had already been under control, was ignited to the boiling point by her. He smiled gently, wrapped his arm around her wound, and whispered in her ear, I want to eat Qinger first. Before she could react, Zhao Yang had already picked her up by the waist and walked into the inner hall. Heavens, why was this scene so familiar? Looking at her cute face and recalling how she shyly said that it was okay even if he couldn't do it, Zhao and Yang's eyebrows unconsciously revealed a deep smile. Chinger, whether it works or not, we'll know after we try. Zhao and Yang gently placed her down, his eyes burning with passion. Chapter 24. On the soft couch, he couldn't wait to kiss her. Every inch and breath of his deeply wrapped around her. His cool fingertips moved across her white skin, causing her to let out a soft moan. The air was filled with an ambiguous aura that filled his restless heart. But just as he was about to lose control and lose his mind, he stopped. Luo Qingchen's pink dress had already been torn to pieces. She took deep breaths as she looked at him who had suddenly stopped, and the word no flashed in her mind again. She saw Zhao and Yang slowly come down from her and lie down beside her. He hugged her in his embrace and gently stroked her hair as he said, "Qinger is injured. I won't bully her." Luo Qingchen was stunned as an indescribable feeling filled her heart. Looking at his passionate eyes, a certain place was already swollen. Without knowing why, she suddenly wanted to say, Actually, you can bully her." Who was speaking? Just who was speaking? It definitely wasn't her. Luo Qingchen still hadn't recovered from her shy face when Zhao and Yang moved to the side and pressed her down. His face was handsome, his eyes were gentle, and there was a faint smile on his lips. In the next second, a surging wave of heat wantonly assaulted him. She took a deep breath and closed her eyes tightly. She felt his overbearing passion, his slightly cold fingertips, and his scorching temperature. The corners of her lips curled up slightly. She blinked her eyes and met his gentle gaze. She suddenly thought of something, not knowing where she had heard it before. "My eyes never change in this life. I love you, Luo Qingchen." His gentle voice echoed in her ears. Ding! Affection has increased by 10. Mission completion rate is now 100%. The sound in her mind broke her weak consciousness. She had actually completed the mission in this situation. The host can choose whether to stay or not. Yes/no, yes. She replied to the system without even thinking. Her mind was completely blank. Only this one word was incomparably clear. She wanted to stay. Whether she lived or died, she wanted to spend the rest of her life with him. The next morning, Luo Qingchen felt that even opening her eyes was a difficult thing. All the bones in her body felt like they were falling apart, and the pain was hard to endure. She regretted it. She had completely underestimated the man from last night. She definitely regretted it. "Madam," the emperor master said, "for this servant to take you to the palace gates. This servant has already prepared your things for you. You just need to wash up." Xiao Qiu walked in from the door and spoke to her. South Gate, where was she going? Was she going to elope when she was no longer the emperor? She followed Xiao Qiu out of the Supreme Harmony Palace when someone suddenly called out her name. "Luo Qingchen. F***CK. Who the hell is calling me by my full name?" She turned around and saw a face she hadn't seen in a long time. Su Li. "Yeah, isn't this the legendary male lead? Nice to meet you. It's all thanks to you that I was able to exchange for the legendary mace." Being hated by others, he was shot by an arrow. Now that he thought about it, the person in front of him had something to do with him almost losing his life. "Looking at your attire, did you pass the imperial exam?" Luo Qingchen saw the plate in his hand and naturally knew that he had entered the court as an official. She just didn't know what rank he was and what rank he was on the imperial exam. "That's all thanks to Qingchen." "Yeah, your husband isn't here, right?" Suli couldn't help but think of the man he saw that day. The man who called himself her husband. The man who emitted the aura of a king. "He's not here," Luo Qingchen said with a chuckle. "Who?" Suli let out a long breath and said with a smile. "It's all thanks to Qingchen's encouragement that I was able to concentrate on the main exam. Although I'm not the top scorer, I'm already very satisfied with the second place." Su Li's smile was very special. It was the kind of smile that could make you feel very warm. "Cuckoo." She cleared her throat and quietly said in his ear, "You should thank my husband for being able to pass the main exam." "Oh." Su Li's eyes flashed with a trace of doubt. He thought for a bit and said, Could it be that Qingqin's husband is working at the scholar's mansion? No wonder that person had the noble aura of a bureaucrat. He was someone from the scholar's mansion. Chapter 25. She turned around and left. She did not look at Su Li's expression because she was afraid that she would laugh herself to death after seeing it. Zhao and Yang's carriage was waiting for her at the southern gate. In fact, her guess was not wrong. He wanted to take her far away. "Madam, are you ready?" Zhao and Yang was wearing a white robe with elegant bamboo leaf patterns embroidered on the edges. He looked very elegant and delicate. She could not help being a little dazed, just like the first time she saw him in Zhoumo. At that time, he was still blind. He was wearing a thin gray robe as he knelt in the snow, begging to be able to cure his mother's illness. But the heavens did not listen to people's wishes. She did not know if his mother would have lived a few more days if she did not help. But right now, he was still so good to her. He gave up half of his life to fight for the world and joined hands with her. "I'm ready." Luo Qingshun held his good-looking hand and sat in the carriage. "Master, you're not bringing Xiao Linzi? Madam, you're not bringing Xiao Qiu? I'm not bringing. The two of them rejected at the same time. This kind of scene was very beautiful. They both knew that as long as they had each other with them, they could continue to walk until the end of their lives. Eunuch Lin hired a deaf and mute carriage driver for them. She and Zhao and Yang set off like this, giving up her status, giving up her luxurious life, giving up her glory. No, she did not give up her glory and wealth, because when she left the palace, she brought a lot of gold. It was enough to spend for a lifetime. "Where are we going?" "The outskirts of Ming province." Luo Qingshun leaned her little head on Zhao and Yang's shoulder and asked with a smile, "How about we go to Zhoumo?" Zhao and Yang rubbed her head, and his gentle voice came from her ear. She was stunned, and her head buzzed twice. Zhoumo Luo Palace. He wanted to bring her home. Zhao and Yang. She suddenly stood up and looked up. She looked at him with a proud face and said, "You are no longer the emperor. Zhoumo is still my Luo family's world. What does Madam want to say?" Zhao and Yang tucked her messy hair behind her ear and said, "Qinger, is still plans to bully me? How could it be?" Luo Qingshun looked at his gentle face and couldn't help but lower her voice. "Back then, Qing seemed to have bullied me quite a bit. I regret it." Luo Qingshun pouted and said angrily, "If I hadn't been young and impetuous back then, Yin wouldn't have been able to take advantage of the loophole." Zhao and Yang faintly smiled and shook his head. "The ending is the same. Why? Whether it's Yin Wu Sei or any other woman, there's always a Luo Qingshun between us." Zhao and Yang looked into her eyes and smiled. He knew that she wouldn't let him be with anyone back then. Her love used to be so overbearing, but now that he thought about it, she had changed a lot. It was her, yet it didn't seem like her. Luo Qingshun faintly smiled. As if she suddenly thought of something, she looked at him and asked, "Master, if you don't have Xiao Lin to wake you up in the future, will you be used to it?" "No, I have Qing." Zhao and Yang almost blurted out without any hesitation. "He's so direct." "Master, if you don't have the imperial kitchen to make delicious food for you in the future, will you be used to it?" "No, I have Qing." Zhao and Yang paused, as if he thought of something. He added, "As long as she doesn't keep thinking about nourishing my kidney." Damn, how could he still remember this? Cough, cough. Luo Qingshun cleared her throat and continued to ask, "Master, if you don't have a palace made by your side to help you change and bathe, will you be satisfied?" "No." He turned his eyes and looked at her slightly pursed lips. He gently touched her and said, "I have Luo Qingshun." Chapter 26. This year, there was a large snowfall in Zhoumo. Zhao and Yang made a snowman in the back garden of the Luo manor and covered his eyes with a black cloth. You made a pile of yourself." Luo Qingshun came out of the room and looked at the cute and chubby snowman. Her lips revealed a bright smile. Zhao and Yang saw that she ran out without a coat and his brows slightly knit together. He went into the room and took out her red cloak. Luo Qingshun stood beside the snowman and walked around it 2 times. Then, she revealed a silly smile. "Don't catch a cold." He put the cloak over her and gently rubbed her. "Does it look like me?" He saw that she was looking at the snowman without saying anything and asked with a smile. Luo Qingxun blinked and touched the snowman's face. She felt the cold snow melt in her palm. She revealed a faint smile and said, "It's a bit fat. Is that so?" Zhao and Yang looked at himself and gave a self-deprecating smile. "Compared to now, it's about the same. That's right, you're so fat." Luo Qingxun looked at him and revealed a sweet smile. In the past few years, they had ridden their horses in the Jianghu. They had seen thousands of mountains and rivers and traveled to the ends of the world. Other than eating and playing, Zhao and Yang could be said to have gained a lot of weight. "Madam, are you disliking me?" Looking at her clear eyes, it was the same as a few years ago. It was as if the years had not left a single mark on her body. "How could that be? It's clearly you who are disliking me." Luo Qingxun pouted her lips and pointed at the snowman. "You only made a pile of yourself and didn't make a pile of me. It's snowing. I'm afraid you'll get cold." Zhao and Yang held her little hand in his palm. It was soft and warm. "Nonsense, you just don't want to make one for me." Luo Qingxun gave a light snort and made a pile of snow. She put the red cloak on the snowman and looked at him with a smile. "Does it look like me?" "It's too fat." "Qing, it looks much better than it." Zhao and Yang took off Lu Qingxun's cloak from the snowman and put on her. Then he took off his own cloak and put on the snowman. He glanced at the snowman, and the corner of his mouth inadvertently revealed a faint smile. "If I had a prominent status when I met you back then, the me at that time should have been able to drape a cloak over Qing'er's body." Luo Qingxun stared blankly for a moment. After a long time, she smiled faintly. "What a fool. No matter what your status is, I like you, and nothing will change that." "Good, Qing." He rubbed her waist, letting her head rest on his chest, but his eyes were looking at the snowman that Luo Qingxun had made in front of him, and said with a smile, "Now that I have put it on, it could be considered that it is not too late." She looked at the silly snowman in front of her, draped in Zhao and Yang's cloak. Looking at the naked snowman in front of her, she suddenly felt touched. Such a scene, but it was no different from them back then. Zhao and Yang, she slightly raised her eyes, looked at his handsome side profile, and called out his name. He looked up at her. She smiled faintly, stood on her tiptoes, and kissed his lips. "I love you." Zhao and Yang turned his hand and pulled her into his embrace, lowered his head, and kissed her deeply. His voice was as cool as water. "I love you too, forever and ever." With that, he carried her and walked into the room. Outside the window, the snow fluttered. The two snowmen quietly waited in the snow, just like back then. In this life, Zhao and Yang lived to 60 years old. In the ancient times, this age was considered very good. Luo Qingxun had always been by his side, until the moment of his death under the pear blossom tree. His eyes were still so beautiful. "Qing'er, I am so useless. I left before you and made you suffer the pain of parting." Zhao and Yang laid in her embrace, with tears in the corner of his eyes. "Fool, we will meet again in the next life. Let's say, forever and ever, we will never leave each other." Luo Qingxun's eyes were already red. She was unwilling, but it was useless. The system had told her this morning that Zhao and Yang's life in this life ended today. If the king of hell wants you to die at midnight, who would dare to keep you alive past midnight? That's good. The pain of parting will be borne by her. Qing. His breath became weaker and weaker. He opened his thin lips and repeated her name over and over again. I'm here, I'm here." She hugged him as tears kept flowing out of her eyes. I love you." He closed his eyes and said his last words. "Me too." She hugged him as her consciousness gradually blurred. Chapter 27. Zhao and Yang. I always believed that the heavens would let lovers be together. Sure enough, the heavens didn't betray me. My mother was a girl that King Zhao bought from a brothel, so my birth was a tragedy. King Zhao loved my mother at first. Although I wasn't as noble as Zhao and Ling, I wasn't as lowly as I was later. Zhao and Ling's mother was from a famous family, but unfortunately, King Zhao didn't love her. Jealousy turned into hatred and became that woman's life. After all the framing, King Zhao didn't believe us anymore. In the end, My mother was locked in a cold room, and I was blinded by Zhao and Ling. The first time I knew her was when I was 12, during Prince Zhao's 30th birthday banquet. It was a pity that I was already blind at that time, so I wasn't able to see with my own eyes how devastatingly beautiful her snow-stride raiment dance was. I only knew that after the dance, everyone cheered for her. That day, I, who was in endless darkness, actually saw a little bit of light. When I met her again, my mother was seriously ill. The moment the bell on her feet rang, my heart began to beat restlessly. This was Ming province, and she was in Zhongmo. How was that possible? But when she spoke to me, I knew that she was the light in my life. She said that she could help me find a doctor, but I had to promise to go to Zhongmo to find her. At first, I only knew that she was the daughter of a famous family in Zhongmo, but I didn't know that she was King Luo's daughter. Whether it was in my eyes or in King Zhao's eyes, the two words King Luo was far beyond our reach. But even so, I still want to go find her, even though I couldn't see anything. But the next day, my mother died. Zhao and Ling said that it was thanks to his Qing heir Mimi that my mother finally died. I knew what Zhao and Ling meant. He said that she caused my mother's death, but I didn't believe him. After burying my mother, I didn't know where to go, but I didn't want to stay in King Zhao's palace. The teacher who taught me how to write when I was young pitied me and asked if I wanted to go to his newly opened Liu Academy to take lessons. I was so happy that I agreed without hesitation. After all, Liu Academy was in Zhongmo. In fact, she didn't know that I knew that she was attending classes at the Liu Academy before she did. Of course, I also knew that she was the only daughter of the Luo Palace. I couldn't help but smile bitterly. This was a gap that could never be crossed. It was so insurmountable that even hard work had become a joke. However, she still talked to me. But I know it's impossible between us. Later on, I studied very hard. I don't know why, but my path seemed to have become smoother. A few years later, I went from being a teacher's assistant to an imperial censor. Later on, I found out that I, a blind man, was able to have such a smooth career because I had the help of an expert. And this expert was her. At this time, Yin Wu Sei, who had helped me before, was forced to marry the 60-year-old Tai Fu and become his concubine. Thinking about it, as a blind man, I can't be with her in this lifetime. After all, Yin Wu Sei had done me a favor, so I'll just repay her. But I didn't expect that on the eve of the wedding, she would appear in front of me with the Tian Shan Snow Lotus and the Luo family's order, asking me to marry her. I actually have the chance to marry her. The Luo king really doted on her and did everything to satisfy her, even if she had to marry a blind man. On the night of our wedding, I nervously lifted her veil and saw her devastatingly beautiful face for the first time. She was really beautiful. Why would such a beautiful person like her like me? I wanted to spend the rest of my life with her, even if I didn't want to take revenge. But she didn't stop to help me pursue fame and fortune. She did everything she could to take down all the cities in the Eastern continent. But in the end, I hurt her and our child. When she came back to me, I felt that she had become different. In the past, she had always been proud and decisive. But I don't know why, but now she changed. She became so cute and would secretly cook for me. Although the dishes she cooked were a bit, but she had changed. She knew how to speak softly. She knew how to have small emotions. She knew how to cry in front of me. She knew how to hug me. If I admired her in the past, now I just want to get closer to her. Because I was no longer that blind man. Because I finally had the chance to stand in front of her like a man and protect her. Chapter 28. The chaotic world was a void. System: 10 questions and 10 answers. Welcome to the affectionate Emperor World's male lead, Zhao Anyang. Warm applause, clap, 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 only the mechanical clapping. Hello, Zhao Anyang. First question, what did you think when you saw her fall from the sky for the first time in the Imperial study? She was a little pretty, a little cute, a little heavy. I must tell the host that you said she was heavy. Sigma, _ oh, winky face. Don't. The front is the main point. The back is a blind spot. As a system, please be clear about the area. Second question, what did you feel when you saw the first time she cooked for you? If you want to seduce me, you don't have to be so indirect. Just be direct. I can satisfy her. Any position is fine. Cover eyes, so dirty, I don't dare to look. Carrot, carrot, carrot. No need. You should have seen and heard a lot. Will you cripple me? Equals, not for the time being. Third question. What did you feel when you saw her smile at Su Li? Anger, jealousy, dissatisfaction, possessiveness. At that time, you looked like you were going to hit Su Li. No, I wanted to throw him directly into the desolate swamp. The system patted its little chest and let out a long sigh before continuing to ask. Fourth question. What did you feel when you had sex for the first time? I can answer the question again. I have a new answer. What question? I'll cripple you. I'm still a baby. Give me another chance. Ask properly. Fifth question. Were you surprised when you saw her holding the mace? What did you feel at that time? Yes, I felt that thing was very scary. Why did she bring it with her? Did I not give her enough sense of security? I felt sorry for her. Sixth question. What did you feel when she was angry at Yin Wuxian? I didn't feel anything. She was just angry. If she needs me, I can help her. Seventh question. Who do you hate the most in the entire plane? Yin Zhen. Because he almost caused the person I love to lose her life. He caused her so much pain and suffering. Oh, so you threw him into the desolate swamp. I can't think of any place that can make him die more painfully. The system continued to pat its non-existent little heart. It definitely couldn't offend him. Eighth question. When she blocked the arrow for you, how did you feel? Do you feel scared? I was very scared. At that moment, I felt like I was going to lose her. I want to be hurt for her, feel pain for her, and die for her. The system expressed that it didn't like being forced to eat dog food, and it didn't think it would taste good. Ninth question. In her heart, you once had love for Yin was. Is that true? No, I've never fallen in love with any creature other than her, including chickens, ducks, and fish. 10th question. Do you love her before or after? No response. Did I ask something wrong again? In this world, no matter how it changes, no matter where, I only love Luo Qingchun. He raised his cold eyes slightly. So handsome, so special. I now announce the end of the interview with Zhao and Yang, the male lead of the affectionate emperor. Warm applause. In the empty, chaotic space, a single mechanical applause sounded again. Chapter 29. Welcome back to the chaos world. Oh, Luo Qingchun hadn't recovered from the previous world, and she was already in the chaos world. She didn't know why she felt sad and reluctant. The bronze mirror in front of her emitted a blue-green light and smoke. The following is the summary of this mission. Host, please read carefully. Name, Luo Qingchun Plain Space. The Emperor's favorite experience points to exchange. 500, 300 points deducted from the mace. Mission completion rate. 80% reward. Newbie gift pack. Damn, the mace is so expensive. Also, why is the completion rate 80%? I think I completed it quite well. Su Li was not the top scorer. 20 points deducted. WTF, he can't even do what he's best at, and it's my fault. Yes, system, don't you have a conscience if you don't distinguish between right and wrong? No, damn. Open the newbie gift pack for me. Open the newbie gift pack. Luo Qingchun blinked and looked at the things in the bronze mirror. Base points, 100. Exchange points, 1,000. This gift pack was not bad. Base points were used to add to the character's attribute panel. It was a bit of a reversal. Host, you can choose whether to open the points store. Yes/no. Oh, there's such a thing. Hurry up and open it. The numbers on the bronze mirror instantly turned, and she entered the points store. Damn, glittering items appeared in front of her eyes, making her feel overwhelmed. Sure enough, the system didn't lie. It really did have everything. However, the exchange value was just too high for some of these items. Silk, satin, balloons, dolls, paper airplanes, textbooks, computers, smartphones, bread, sports cars. Sports cars, things from the modern plane. Luo Qingchun gave a cold expression and decided to close the store. Because of her. Ben. Exchange. No. Up. Host will start the second mission in 3 minutes. The basic mission panel is below. Damn, so fast. Even if you force a duck onto a perch, it won't be that fast. The system completely ignored her. The bronze mirror had already shown the values of the next mission. experience, appearance, physical strength, charm, figure. Except for experience, all the values are only for this mission and have nothing to do with other missions. Sure, he's so good looking. I like him. In the next second, the image in the bronze mirror changed. Mission level. CEXP gained 200. Item. 1 set of misty fragrance, female lead. Fong Tian Tian male lead. Su Liang Qin supporting male lead. Tang Yu supporting female lead. Qian Fei Fei wait. Luo Qingchen carefully looked at the mission panel again and again. She couldn't find her name at all. Could it be that she wasn't called Luo Qingchen in this plane? Because, oh, I got it. My plane is called Qian Fei Fei, right? A female supporting character counterattacking the male lead. I like it, I like it. No, the system's cold voice sounded. F***CK. This mission is too easy. I'm the female lead. Luo Qingchen couldn't help but laugh out loud. No, the system's cold voice sounded again. WTF, don't tell me I'm a man. The system completely ignored her and directly turned the bronze mirror to the next page. The 3 words Luo Qingchen appeared on the panel, and she was immediately stunned on the spot. Cannon fodder. Luo Qingchen mission content. Return to 3 months before the previous host's death. 1. Let the supporting female lead receive the punishment she deserves. 2. Obtain the love of the male lead Su Liang Chun. Host, please choose. Do you want to accept the previous host memories? What is there to accept about the cannon fodder's memories? Luo Qingchen felt like her heart was about to collapse at this moment. Currently importing memories. Host, please sit tight. Chapter 30. After Luo Qingchen seriously sorted out the previous host cannon fodder's memories, she felt that there was nothing wrong with her thoughts. This so-called cannon fodder had only seen the male lead a few times. The person she liked was not the male lead, but rather the supporting male lead Tang Yu. It was because she liked Tang Yu that the school flower became the supporting female lead Qian Fei Fei's follower. Because Tang Yu liked Qian Fei Fei. Qian Fei Fei liked Su Liang Chun. Su Liang Chun. In the previous host memories, Su Liang Chun didn't seem to like anyone. The reason why he was called a male lead was because Fong Tian Tian liked him. A story has to have a triangular love story or a 4-sided love story. Otherwise, how can it be so happy? The previous host's ending was suicide. She jumped down from the top floor of Imperial High School and ended her life. The reason for suicide was very funny. It was because Qian Fei Fei had the previous host buy breakfast for her. In the end, Qian Fei Fei had a stomachache after eating it. Tang Yu felt that the previous host liked him, so he purposely made Qian Fei Fei sick. He scolded the previous host, telling her to never appear in front of him again and that it would be best if she died. The previous host was weak by nature. After being scolded by her beloved male god, she was instantly disheartened and chose to end her life. However, when the previous host thought of her parents and family before she died, she couldn't help feeling regret. Her body, hair, and skin were all given to her by her parents. You don't just live for yourself. You also have to live for the people who love and care for you. After organizing the previous host's story, Luo Qingchen sat on a stone bench in the sports field and looked at Su Liangchun, who was currently playing basketball. System, can you tell me how the mission completion rate is calculated this time? The second mission is the main mission and the first mission is a side mission. Damn, I knew that you wouldn't be this kind. The first mission wasn't hard, but the second mission. Just tell me, how much affection does the male lead have for the previous host and other people? Previous host, 0%. Female lead, 0%. Supporting female lead, 0%. God, this really was a cold male lead. However, in other words, everyone was at the starting line. It was really unknown who would win and who would lose. Qingchen, Fei Fei wants you to buy Yakult for her. Luo Qingchen was still thinking when a little fat girl walked past her and spoke in a commanding tone. Luo Qingchen tried her best to remember. In the previous host memories, this little fat girl was one of Qian Fei Fei's followers. But she was one of those followers who bullied the weak and was afraid of strong. She must have been bullied by Qian Fei Fei Fei, so she had to find someone else to vent her anger. Luo Qing-chun stood up and put her hands in the pockets of her uniform. She completely ignored the little fatty and walked in another direction. The little fat girl was clearly stunned. Did Luo Qing-chun eat the wrong medicine? She was Fei's was returning to her class. Her desk mate was one of the original owner's few friends, called Yang Mengting. Fei-chun, Fei-chun, Fei. Luo was her. Was it Fei's size? Her name would always be in the bottom 50 of the year. Qing-chun, do you think you're working for Qian Fei again? Yang Mingting said to her while writing notes. Luo Qing-chun took out her textbook and said with a smile, "Who has time to care about that retard?" She didn't want to pretend too much in front of Yang Mingting because she had a good impression of this girl. Yang Mingting was obviously stunned. Even her hand, which was constantly writing notes, stopped. After a long time, she looked at Luo Qing-chun, who was seriously taking notes, and slowly said, "Well, that's good. We're about to take the college entrance exam. Don't think too much about those things." She naturally knew what Yang Mengding was talking about. Tang Yu, right? I don't like him. System, let me add another branch for you. Torture Tang Yu as well. Chapter 31. After school, the moment Luo Qing-chun walked out of the school gate, she saw two familiar voices. The supporting female lead, Qian Fei, and the chubby girl, Wang Zhuang. She didn't hear wrong. She was called Zhuang. Luo Qing-chun, why didn't you buy Yakult for our sister Fei today? You made her thirsty during PE class. Wang Zhuang had a righteous look. She wore white and blue sportswear, and her belly was so big that it looked like she was 5 or 6 months pregnant. On the other hand, Qian Fei's figure was okay. Her face was okay, and her makeup was good. If you love your sister Fei so much, why didn't you buy it for her? Luo Qing-chun raised her eyebrows, and the corner of her mouth was full of ridicule. Wang Zhuang didn't think that the always weak Luo Qing-chun would talk back to her. Her words were stuck in her throat, and she couldn't say anything. Zhuang and I were in PE class together. Naturally, we didn't have time to buy it. Qian Fei rolled her eyes at Luo Qing-chun, and her tone was very bad. She felt very strange. Did Luo Qing-chun take the wrong medicine today? She dared to talk to her like that? Oh, she put her hands on her waist and looked at Qian Fei from top to bottom. What does it have to do with me? Luo Qing-chun. Qian Fei was confused by the sudden resistance of the cannon fodder. She pointed at her nose and said, "Are you going to buy it or not?" TSK. Luo Qing-chun smiled coldly. I say, are you really stupid or are you pretending to be stupid? I said it tactfully to give you some face, and you still pretend you don't understand? Originally, Luo Qing-chun didn't plan to have a falling out with Qian Fei. She wanted to take it step by step. Unfortunately, she was the kind of person who cut the Gordian knot. Instead of being coy and scheming, it was better to be straightforward. Luo Qing-chun, how dare you talk to Sister Fei like that? Wang Zhuang obviously thought that she had caught Luo Qing-chun's weakness. In the future, her image as a follower in front of Qian Fei would be higher. These words aren't bad. Luo Qing-chun's lips curled into a cold smile. I don't even want to talk to your big sister Fei. With that, she turned to leave. You don't want to attend Tang Yu's birthday party tomorrow, right? Qian Fei's cold voice sounded behind him. It was a blatant threat. Luo Qing-chun chuckled, but didn't stop walking. Her voice drifted in the wind. Oh, then I'll have to trouble you to say happy birthday to classmate Tang Yu for me. I really don't plan on going. System notification. The supporting male lead, Tang Yu, is nearby. Oh, if it's nearby, then so be it. If you had told me earlier that you were nearby, I would have been even more ruthless. Luo Qing-chun, if you have the guts, don't beg me in the future. Qian Fei stood where she was and stomped her feet angrily. Her face and ears were red. Not far away, Tang Yu narrowed his eyes and looked at the girl who walked past him. She had a faint smile on her lips. Her skin was white as snow and clean without a single blemish. Her long black hair slid across her face and inadvertently touched the softness in the depths of her heart. His heart suddenly beat faster. It wasn't like he hadn't seen Luo Qingchen before. His brothers were all envious that the school beauty liked him, but he felt incomparably irritated and troublesome. In his heart, as long as Qian Feifei occasionally looked at him, it was enough. Tang Yu took a deep breath and shook his head. He withdrew his gaze from Luo Qingchen and stopped himself from thinking too much. Chapter 32. Who made our family's young miss angry? Tang Yu rubbed Qian Feifei's head and asked in a gentle voice. He and Qian Feifei were childhood friends, and he had liked her since they were young. He liked the good Guzheng song she played, and he liked her proud appearance. But he knew that she had never liked him since they were young. Over time, he didn't know if this was considered love or if it was just a habit of guarding someone by his side. Tang Yu, I'm telling you, you can't even look at Luo Qingchen from now on, otherwise I'll break off relations with you. Qian Feifei forcefully shook off Tang Yu's hand that was gently rubbing her head as she spoke with a fierce expression. Qian Feifei thought in her heart, Luo Qingchen, you have the skills to be arrogant, so be arrogant. You know that your family's male god only loves me, so why aren't you my follower? What's the use of being good-looking? Do you think this is a world that only looks? All right, you are our family's little princess. You have the final say. Tang Yu awkwardly took back his hand, but he still had a smile as he said, not to mention, I've never looked at her before. System, can you tell me where Su Yangshun is right now? She walked to the school gates as soon as the school bell rang. In the end, she didn't see her family's great male lead and instead met two idiots. Oh no, it was three. At the corner of the alley, at the 90 Degrees Coffee House. The male lead will work there for an hour after school. Why is it only for an hour? Because the coffee house is opened by his aunt. He's waiting for his little brother to finish school. Oh, search. The system really knew more. But speaking of this couldn't be blamed on her. She could only blame this cannon fodder for not interacting with the male lead enough. Luo Qingchen directly changed her direction and headed towards the 90 Degrees Coffee House. No matter how hard it was to deal with this male god, she had to take the first step. His affection always stopped at 0. It wasn't a method. The 90 Degrees Coffee House was at the corner of the alley near the school. It was a very elegant coffee house. When she entered, the wind chimes at the door jingled, and the air was filled with the smell of coffee beans. She found a seat by the window and secretly looked at Su Yangchun, who was mixing coffee at the counter. It said that men who worked hard were the most handsome, and Su Yangchun was an exception. He wore white cufflinks and a neat and clean shirt. His skin was fair, and his facial features were delicate with a touch of handsomeness. But there was also a touch of indifference in his handsomeness. His slender fingertips slid across the coffee cup. His movements were calm and elegant, exuding a cold and aloof aura that kept people away. Classmate, this student, what would you like to order? She didn't know how many love-struck fools had come to see her Prince Charming today. It was really annoying. Luo Qingchen was suddenly pulled back from her thoughts by a sharp voice. She looked up at the waiter who was ordering food in front of her. Her face was full of impatience, and her lips were slightly curled up, as if someone owed her millions. Give me a cup of Mountain Blue Mountain. What? What are you buying? The waiter frowned, thinking that he had misheard. He casually wrote 2 pinyin on the menu and walked to the bar counter. Luo Qingchen's eyes lit up, and there was a faint smile at the corner of her mouth. Seeing the waiter's love-struck appearance as she whispered into Su Yangchen's ear, Luo Qingchen thought in her heart, this is the first time I've met him, so there should be one. A woman who knows how to scheme is truly terrifying. The system's sudden words gave him fright. Don't listen to other people's thoughts. Just wait and see how my friend points are increasing. Luo Qingchen looked away and took out her textbook from her bag. She placed it on the table and elegantly wrote notes that even she couldn't understand. A warm breeze blew past, and she slightly blinked. Her skin was as white as snow, and her eyes were as clear as water. Chapter 33. Hello, classmate. We don't have the Mountain Blue Mountain recipe here right now. Do you want to change it? Su Yangchen's cool as water voice sounded in her ears, sounding good to her bones. He really was a top student male god. Even words like Mountain Blue Mountain could not stump him. This coffee came from the Wallenford farm, so it should be called Jamaican Blue Mountain Coffee. Luo Qingqian's lips slightly curled. She looked up and prepared a piece of paper for Su Yongchun, as she said with a smile, "There's the recipe on the paper. Handsome brother can just follow the recipe on it." With a gentle breeze, the rainbow bracelet on her wrist jingled as she silently looked at the youth in front of her. Su Yongchun was stunned. His slender fingers took the paper and directly opened it. There was naturally no Blue Mountain recipe on the paper. Rather, there were 7 beautiful words. "Su Yongchun, I like you." WTF. Why did he directly open it? Shouldn't he secretly open it after receiving a beauty's note? Ding! Affection has decreased by 10. Mission completion rate is now -10%. Damn you. System, you can still deduct affection? Of course you can. Then why don't you just deduct 100 and everyone can go their separate ways? She was really angry, so angry that her stomach hurt, because the male lead's dislike for the host has not reached 100. I'm just confessing. Why? What? Is it? Su Yongqin looked at her face and couldn't help finding it a bit funny. It was like she was talking to someone. "Classmate, do you really want this flavor of coffee?" He cleared his throat and asked this, as a cold smile appeared in his eyes. "Right," Luo Qingchun said through gritted teeth. "The more bitter, the better." Wait a minute. His lips curled into a faint smile as he spoke. 5 minutes later, a cup of pure Blue Mountain black coffee appeared in front of her. System notification: the previous host's stomach is not good. It is not suitable to drink bitter coffee. Who cares? I'll drink it first if I'm in a bad mood. Luo Qingchun raised the cup and drank it all. However, 15 minutes later, she was filled with regret for not listening to the system's words. Her stomach hurt. It really hurt. She slightly blinked as her stomach hurt. After a few rounds, her face was a bit pale. "No, let's go back first." Luo Qingchun took a deep breath, raised her slightly trembling hand, put the textbook into her school bag, and waved her hand. "Bill." "Coming," the discontented waiter shouted. "Wait, I'll go." Su Yongchun knit his brows. He came down from the bar and slowly walked towards her. He was a little worried when he saw the speed at which she drank the coffee. After drinking it, she looked restless. She must be feeling uncomfortable. The recipe for this cup of coffee was not on the shop's menu. He made it himself. Although he didn't know why he made such a bitter cup of coffee, it wouldn't be good if something happened to it. "How much?" Luo Qingchun covered her stomach with her right hand. She didn't even bother to raise her eyes when she saw someone coming over. Su Yongqin's slightly cold hand grabbed her right hand, covering her stomach, but he found that the other side's hand was even colder. He frowned and asked, "Are you all right?" Luo Qingchun was stunned. She raised her head abruptly, and a face as pale as a sheet of paper entered the other's eyes. Ding! Affection has increased by 10. Mission completion rate is now 0%. Chapter 34. She nodded as she bit her lip and said, "A bit. It doesn't seem like a bit." Su Yongchun took the cup from her desk and said in a soft voice, "Wait for me." Luo Qingchun bit her lip. Her right hand was still tightly holding her stomach as beads of sweat appeared on her forehead. She slightly looked up and looked in Su Yongchen's direction. She saw him take off his uniform and put on his school jacket. He whispered a few words to the waiter before picking up his bag and walking in her direction. "Can you walk?" Su Yongchun helped her pick up her bag and softly helped her up. "I can." Luo Qingchun was a bit embarrassed as a faint blush appeared on her pale face. She reached out her hand and said, "My bag." "I'll help you take it." Su Yongchun held her arm and said, "There aren't any hospitals nearby. Let's go back to the school infirmary first." "What? Go back to school? The two of them? How many eyes would that attract?" Su Yongchun saw that she wasn't leaving and asked in a doubtful voice, "What is it, you can't walk?" "No, it's not that." Luo Qingchun endured the pain as she put her right hand down from her stomach and said, "I feel a bit better now. The school infirmary might be closed if we go back. You still have to pick up your little brother later. It's not that convenient. You actually know quite clearly." Su Yongchun slightly lowered his head and said, "What to do?" She suddenly felt a bit embarrassed. "You should have felt it when you sent the love letter and not now." Scram. The system was becoming more and more arrogant recently, It even dared to openly mock her. That, her face turned red, almost forcefully covering her white cheeks. What should she say? She was also in despair. Is your home nearby? Su Yang-chun broke the slightly awkward and ambiguous atmosphere in the air as he asked this. The bus will be there in 2 stops. I have a bike, do you mind? I don't mind. Luo Qingqun's voice clearly went up a pitch. Her eyes sparkled as she slightly raised her right hand like she was making an oath, expressing her fervent hope. Su Yang-chun narrowed his eyes to look at the girl in front of him. His face was cold and expressionless, but he felt in his heart. This person, she was a bit cute. Sitting on the back of Su Yang-chun's bicycle, they passed through an alley near the school. The air was filled with the smell of spring, and the cherry blossoms on the trees fell with the wind. It was a little pleasant and a little beautiful. Indeed, they had attracted the attention of many students as well as the heated discussions of the onlookers. Oh my God, isn't it the school hunk and school bell? Damn, they're there together? This is definitely the biggest news of the year at Daidan High School. Luo Qingqun frowned. Ignoring the pain, she shrunk her neck slightly. The person riding in front of her seemed to have sensed her actions, and a slight smile appeared on his face. His bicycle had never carried a girl before, and it felt even better than he had imagined. Ding, affection has increased by 5. Mission completion rate is now 5%. Sure. It finally broke through 0. Coincidentally, this beautiful scene was also reflected in Qian Feifei's eyes. Tang Yu was standing beside her, watching Su Yang-chun and Luo Qingqun ride past them. A confused look flashed in his eyes. Didn't Luo Qingqun like him? The school belle who liked him for 2 years. Why did she suddenly fall in love with someone else? He didn't know why, but there was a kind of uncomfortable feeling in his heart. Chapter 35. Qian Fei angrily threw the cake she just bought onto the ground. She turned to look at Tang Yu and said, Tang Yu, get Luo Qingqun for me and don't let her bother the school hunk. I was wondering why this girl suddenly became so arrogant. So it was because she had a new lover. Tang Yu's heart trembled. Looking at the broken cake on the ground, a slight pain came from his chest. This was the cake she had bought for him with a smile on her face, but in an instant, it had changed. Do you really care that much? Tang Yu's eyes had a trace of sadness as his lips curled into a bitter smile. Qian Fei's eyes slightly changed. She pouted her lips and said in a spoiled voice, Tang Yu, if you help me get Luo Qingqun and make her stop bothering school hunk Su, I'll agree to go on a date with you for a day. 3 days? 1 week. It can't be more than that. Qian Fei proudly threw off Tang Yu's hand, speaking in a somewhat angry voice. Tang Yu closed his eyes and took a deep breath before saying, I understand. Yeah, Big Brother Tang Yu is the best. Qian Fei shook his hand with a bright smile on her face. But for some reason, at this moment, Tang Yu had the urge to break free from her grip. Once upon a time, he was this excited when he held her hand. But now, he felt a bit uncomfortable. On the other side, Su Yang-chun only said one thing after he sent Luo Qingqun home. What did you think it was, drinking more warm water? Or sleeping early? Or perhaps he should take some medicine? No. School hunk, Su only said 2 words. Goodbye. Lying in bed, Luo Qingqun summarized Su Yang-chun as a person. He was simply harder to deal with than she imagined. System, I feel that you're being unfair to me. Look, other than me in the liberal arts class, everyone else is in the science class, and they're all in the same class as Su Yang-chun. How can I be the first to get the moon? A week later, although she and Su Yang-chun didn't meet at all, Imperial High School had its anniversary celebration, and Luo Qingqun finally met the so-called female lead. It was Fong Tian. In his impression, this girl was not bad at all. Her and Su Yang-chun's names were on the list for the anniversary celebration. The 4 of them were performing My Future Is Not a Dream on the piano. However, an hour before the competition, Fong Tian's hand was injured. He was hit by a flower pot high in the sky, cutting the back of his hand and fingers. The backstage of the school's performance room was in chaos. After all, this show was the most anticipated show among the students. We have no choice but to cancel it now. This song is a duet between a man and a woman. Even if Liang Chun is the only one playing the piano, we still lack a female singer. The director sighed. I heard that Qian Feifei from our class also knows how to play musical instruments, but she's not very good at singing. One of the boys from the performing arts department said, Oh, what instrument do you play? Chief Duan, I know how to play the zither. Qian Feifei appeared out of nowhere. She had already put on her costume and heavy makeup. Chief Duan looked up and almost didn't recognize him. Gujing. Chief Duan looked a little troubled. It's not in the same dimension as a piano's timbre. Let's just cancel it. Su Liang Chun looked at Qian Feifei not far away and knit his brows. He directly cut off the director's words and rejected her. I can sing, Qian Feifei said while biting her lip. It's a performance that hasn't been rehearsed before. Let's just forget it. Su Liang Chun rejected her without any expressions. Qian Feifei's heart trembled. She rarely had a chance to talk to Su Liang Chun, and he always rejected her in an ice-cold manner. It filled her heart with sadness and unwillingness. Why didn't he give her a single chance? It was so hard to make Fang Tian unable to perform on stage. She thought that she would have a chance. At the same time, Luo Qingqian, standing behind the curtain, saw everything that happened in front of her. System, I'm good at singing, but I'm not that good at playing the piano. Is there a way for me to suddenly learn how to play the piano? Yes, it requires 100 exchange points. Deal. Chapter 36. That section head. Luo Qingqian came out from behind the curtain. She pursed her lips into a smile and said, I know how to play the piano. Let me see the score and I'll play it. Luo Qingqian, Qian Feifei naturally never thought that she would see her here. She gritted her teeth. That fellow Tang, you, still hasn't taken care of her? She's like Fang Tian all day, trying to seduce their school hunk? Isn't that the school flower? So beautiful. She really is the school flower. Not only is she beautiful, she's also multi-talented. The eyes of the surrounding boys all fell onto her. Of course, this included her aloof school hunk, Su Liang Chun. Qian Feifei saw that she was the center of attention, and her entire person became irritated. Are you deaf? Didn't you hear what school hunk Su said? A performance that has never been rehearsed before. If it's the piano, I can give it a try. Su Liang Chen's cold voice sounded, directly cutting off Qian Feifei's words. In a situation where no one knew, his slender fingers flipped the pages of the piano score. He found a brand new song list and handed it to Luo Qingqian. She took the piano score and opened it to see the words, exclusive taste. That's not right. She saw the performance list that day. He and Fang Tian didn't play this song. It should be My Future Is Not a Dream. System, did I remember wrong? No, the male lead changed the song list at the last minute. Luo Qingqian's heart skipped a beat, but her lips curled into a faint smile. 5% affection could turn an inspirational song into a love song. It seemed like the 5% in the heart of the aloof school hunk was not normal. All right, then you two should prepare yourselves. We're about to go on stage. The section head saw that Su Liang Chun agreed, so naturally she couldn't say anything. After all, it was very troublesome to change the performance at the last minute, so she directly agreed. System, you can exchange for me now. Ding, 100 exchange points has been taken. Successfully exchanged for piano skills can only be used in this world. Luo Qingqian changed her clothes and was wearing the same set as Su Liang Chun. It was commonly known as a couple's outfit. She was wearing a white shirt and a short red skirt. Su Liang Chun was wearing a white shirt, a dark red jacket, and a pair of black pants. Just as they were about to go on stage, Chief Duan ran over in a hurry. The makeup artist forgot to give you a shirt and a bow tie. A pair of dark red checkered bow ties tied on a white shirt made him look even more youthful and energetic. I'm a little nervous. Luo Qingqian pursed her lips and looked up at him. Su Liang Chen's lips curled into a faint smile as he said, Why weren't you nervous when you gave the love letter? That's not the same, okay? Luo Qingqian instantly blushed and tried to quibble. Just follow me. His cool voice entered her ears, and she felt her uneasy beating heart gradually calm down. Host, Next, let's invite the third years Su Liang-chun and Luo Qingchen to give us a wonderful performance of exclusive taste. The white fingers on the black and white keys made Luo Qingchen secretly happy. She actually had the opportunity to sit side by side with him. She was stunned and quickly placed her hand on the piano. She took a deep breath and listened to his soft countdown. 1, 2, 3. A sweet melody followed their hands and sounded melodiously. Girl, I only know how important you are to me after meeting you. Man, no one can feel your sweetest smile. Together, I don't need to look for anyone else, because I've already found you. Girl, it's only lively with you in front of the theater on Saturday. Man, I'll take you to see the night view on Sunday, all right? Together, I'll lead you around everywhere. Everywhere is my dream. The sweet female voice matched the warm male voice. The beautiful singing of the four hands filled the air. Chapter 37. After the anniversary party ended, the director called them to the lounge backstage. It'll be winter break in a month, so everyone can leave their addresses and phone numbers. After the judges have chosen the rankings, the school will directly send the prizes and gifts to your homes, so you can have a good year. The director's smile was very bright. It seemed like she was very satisfied with the anniversary party tonight. Luo Qingchen walked behind Su Liang-chun, staring right at him, until he picked up a pen and wrote down his phone number. 135 asterisk 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 1314. Gu Qingsheng pursed her lips and muttered. After Su Liang-chun finished writing, she quickly went forward to write down her information. Her words were a bit crooked. She expressed that it wasn't her fault because all her memories fell on a school hunk Sue's elegant handwriting. System, help me remember the address. This system does not casually provide this service. What use do you have? You're a computer system and you can't even remember a single thing. You're not embarrassed to call yourself a system? Who said it didn't know? The system didn't want to care about her at all. In the end, Luo Qingchen only remembered the phone number and the approximate home address. Jean Manor, Courtyard, XXXX. She couldn't remember the rest. This was because all her brain capacity was used to remember the phone number. When she returned home, Luo Qingchen didn't even take a shower as she took out her phone to send a text to Su Liang-chen's number. It's only lively with you in front of the theater on Saturday. Do you have time to watch a movie together? Heart, by Luo Qingchen. A long night passed, and Luo Qingchen's phone didn't even vibrate once. My heart hurts, old friend. The next day, she decided to take advantage of the break in PE class to find someone. But she never thought that she would find someone. But there were two of them, him and Fong Tian. She really was the female lead's halo. Luo Qingchen felt that Su Liang-chun didn't have the cold indifference that kept people 1,000 miles away when she tried to talk to him. That about student Su's anniversary celebration, I'm very sorry. Fong Tian was wearing a standard school uniform and a white sweater jacket. Her long hair was tied into a ponytail, pure and cute. Although she was not as good-looking as Luo Qingchen, she stood there with her head lowered with a slight blush, which was another beautiful scenery. She didn't know why, but facing Fong Tian, Luo Qingchen wasn't as confident as facing Qian Fei. It always felt like cannon fodder versus female lead. The latter had a complete victory. I'm fine. Is your hand all right? Su Liang-chen's voice that was as cool as water sounded. It was so pleasant to hear that it made people feel numb. His eyes narrowed slightly as his gaze landed on the faintly discernible rainbow-colored bracelet at the corner. A faint smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. No, it's okay. Thank you, classmate Su, for your concern. She saw the faint smile on his lips and could not control the joy in her heart. She bit her lips slightly and lowered her head, her face flushing red. Then that's good. Su Liang-chun did not say anything else as he prepared to enter the classroom. Luo Qingchen was not far away, and her heart jumped in her throat. It was like she was peeping at someone else's confession. Fong Tian's eyes slightly lit up, and she was completely stunned on the spot. It was like she had received the greatest care in the world, and she was wild with joy. She suddenly looked up and looked at Su Liang-chen's back as she said, "Classmate Su, I have something to say." Pucci, Why is it that I don't like you? Rather, I have something to say. This Fong Tian Tian is a bit too reserved. Does the host think that everyone is as direct as you? The system's mechanical voice sounded in her ears. System, turn into a ball and do what you need to do. Luo Qingshun took a deep breath and walked out. She cleared her throat and said, Liang Chun. Chapter 38. Fong Tian Tian slightly turned around and was clearly stunned when she saw Luo Qingshun. It wasn't like she didn't see the performance last night. Su Yangqin's faint smile towards her was that charming, but she still thought that it was just for the performance. But right now, why was she calling his name so intimately? Dear, let me borrow your male god for a bit. Luo Qingshun smiled at Fong Tian Tian before grabbing Su Yangqin's arm and walking towards the open field. Fong Tian Tian was stunned. She thought that Su Yangqin would break free from her hand, but she never thought that he wouldn't resist at all. Why didn't he resist? Once they arrived at the field, Luo Qingshun immediately let go of Su Yangqin's hand. She put her hands behind her back and her lips curled into a smile. What? School hunk Su, let's make a deal. Luo Qingshun looked at his expressionless and handsome face and directly cut him off. She decided to make the first move and prevent him from taking advantage of her with just a few words. Oh. He raised a brow and his eyes were filled with an inquisitive gaze. Let me be your girlfriend. Luo Qingshun closed her eyes and took a deep breath as she spoke. Her system was right about something. She really wasn't as troublesome as Fong Tian Tian. As a deal, I want to know what benefits I have or what advantages you have. He didn't reject her directly. Instead, he looked her up and down with a faint smile in his eyes. Advantages? She thought about it and said, I'm good-looking. Vulgar. Su Yangqin's words were concise. She gritted her teeth and continued. I can sing and play the piano. Vulgar. His brows slightly raised as he waited for her next words. Damn, why was he so hard to please? That's it. Seeing her not say anything, Su Yangqin slightly narrowed his eyes and said, Then I'm leaving. Seeing him turn to leave, Luo Qingshun anxiously grabbed his arm. She suddenly raised her head and said, I can do block peach flower. The title of the school bell wasn't just for show. As someone with good looks, it was still possible for her to fend off those withered willows who kept throwing themselves at her. Su Yangqin stopped moving and there was a faint smile on his face. He softly said, It's a bit interesting. What the hell did that mean? Was this a yes or a no? Ding! The crisp sound of the school bell broke the slightly awkward atmosphere in the air. Damn it, that damn bell for class. Classmate Luo Qingshun, I don't plan on dating in my third year of high school. Su Yangqin's cool voice entered her ears, making her heart fall to the bottom. She pursed her lips and lowered her eyes, her face full of frustration. Su Yangqin looked down at her disappointed expression, and there was a trace of joy that filled his heart. This was the first time that a person's emotions could affect his heart. This feeling was real. It was a little interesting. All right, I know. Luo Qingshun thought that since Plan A didn't work, she might as well change to Plan B. But she never thought that before she could finish, Su Yangqin would cut her off. It's not because I'm afraid of early love. Rather, it's because I don't want to experience the breakup season of graduation in my third year of high school. Ah, Luo Qingshun instantly looked up and a pair of clear eyes entered his eyes. It was so beautiful that it glowed. Ding, affection has increased by 10. Mission completion rate is now 15%. The system waited this long and finally added me as a friend. Does this mean that he agreed to me? Which ear of the host heard him agree to you? Humph. This really is an unromantic system. Chapter 39. After all, her grades were just too bad. This kind of grade wouldn't even be enough to pass the college entrance exam. Luo Qingshun stood there in a daze, blinking and blinking. Looking at his back, Luo Qingshun felt like her heart was about to jump out. System calling the system. Here. His meaning is that my grades aren't good? It's very clear. Damn, what does it have to do with me if your grades aren't good? It was the previous host that was stupid, all right? After the host inherited the previous host body, your grades didn't get any better and instead dropped several places. That's because I don't think grades are related to the task, all right? AI. So his meaning is that I have a chance if my grades are good? Yes. Right. Remove the right part. I think it is. Zay. See, this is easy to take care of. I have a way. In the silent night, Luo Qingshun couldn't fall asleep no matter how she tossed and turned in bed. Her mind was filled with Su Liangchen's appearance. That elegant, that handsome, and that good-looking. It was like he was a ray of light wherever he went, shining into the hearts of countless people. But it seemed like there wasn't a single person's light that could shine into his heart. I must be the light that shines into his heart. Luo Qingshun suddenly sat up in bed, nodding as she spoke to herself. After that, she picked up her cell phone and sent a second text to Su Liangchun. Tomorrow night at the movie theater, be there or be square. The 10 miles of spring breeze can't compare to you. I'll wait for you. P.S. I'll wait even if you don't come. Wait. By Luo Qingshun. Clicking this send, Luo Qingshun felt that her palms were covered in sweat. Actually, it was very embarrassing and she felt very embarrassed. But there were many things that didn't go your way. After an entire night passed, she still didn't receive a single reply. So when she woke up the next day, she had 2 large dark circles under her eyes. System, do you think I remember the wrong phone number? Come over and help me check it. Core, right? 1, down. That's right. The system's ice-cold voice sounded, instantly pouring into her anxious heart. Ugh, it was truly heart-chilling. She walked to the dining room with a gloomy expression. Madame Su had already prepared breakfast for her, and her loving father was watching the morning news. Speaking of which, the original owner was an only child. She had been pampered since she was young. It was no wonder. The thing she regretted the most before she died was leaving her family. What's wrong, my baby? Why do you look so listless? Madame Su asked with concern when she saw her sour face. My dear wife, the child is under a lot of pressure in the 3rd year of high school. Don't ask her all the time. You're making her even more irritated, her father said to Mrs. Su with a frown. Okay, Mom won't ask. Madame Su put the milk and cake in her bag and said, remember to eat, good girl. Got it, Mom. Luo Qingshun pursed her lips. She was very touched. She had never enjoyed such a feeling before. Although it was just a small indulgence, it warmed her heart. No wonder the original owner was so reluctant. If she was born into such a family, she would definitely cherish it. Daughter, the weather forecast says there will be a storm tonight. Remember to bring an umbrella. Luo Qingshun was eating breakfast while thinking about the movie tonight. She didn't hear her father's deep advice at all.